Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second. The throw. In time.
On the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Memorial Day matinee in Texas. The Blue Jays head to Arlington today, taking on the 2023 World Series champion Texas Rangers. Both teams coming off tough series, so a lot on the line here as the Blue Jays play the first of three today. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Alongside Chris LaRue, the former Major League pitcher, I'm Ben Schulman. Joe Ali is our host and producer today. Austin Mackey is our technical director. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Chatham and Wallaceburg. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. We have quite the pitching matchup in Game 1 of this series. Kevin Gausman goes for the Blue Jays, looking to build off of his 7 shutout innings against San Diego 5 days ago. On the other side, one of the best in the world, Jacob deGrom, has regained his health and regained his form this year for the Rangers. He's one of the best in the game, and the Blue Jays will have to hit against him today. We'll have lineup standings, first pitch on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
After the game, join us on MLB Network Radio. We're talking baseball with you all season long on Sirius XM Channel 89 and the Sirius XM app.
That Radio Network.
Trying to get the crowd into it early. Kevin Gausman set at the belt, the 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Went right back to the splitter below the knees, and there's one down.
That's a good sign for Kevin Gausman and the Blue Jays. 2 very good split fingers. Started in that strike zone and then just dove right off the table.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gausman spins with a hop off the mound, punching out Merrill on a splitter to strand a rise at third. Rocks back and delivers. Fastball, caught him looking, 97 at the knees, strike 3. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Pacing around the mound, Kevin Gausman has struck out 9 in a dominant start today, 2 down.
That might have been his best split finger of the day.
That's 7 scoreless for Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman was sensational for the Blue Jays in his last start, helping Toronto sweep the San Diego Padres, but he has a worthy opponent today in the Texas Rangers and Jacob deGrom on the hill. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Game 1 of this series about to start, and Chris, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's going to be difficult for any team to hit against Jacob deGrom, and the Blue Jays, coming off a series in which they only scored 2 runs, don't exactly bring momentum into this matchup.
Yeah, well, Kevin Gausman was great in his last start, but Jacob deGrom has been great the majority of this season. The fastball is back, even though that arm slot is a little bit lower, which might add just a little bit of run, too, which might make him better. He's still the guy that won a couple of Cy Youngs. Everything is working for him. I'm really excited to see him pitch today.
We'll see deGrom in a couple moments, but before that, let's go over to today's host for the lineup and standings. Here is Show Ali.
Thanks very much, Ben and Chris. Let's get you over to before we get you over to starting lineups, let's check out the Bet365 standings update. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. As it is Memorial Day down south, there are a lot of games on the MLB calendar. 24 teams in action, including the entirety of the American League East. Some games are already underway. Some will go later tonight, but none of them have finished, so we can do a quick check of the standings. The Yankees are 32-20 entering play. The Rays are 26-26 after a 3-game sweep of the Jays. The Red Sox are 27-28. The Blue Jays themselves enter play 25-27, and the Orioles are 18-34. Speaking of the Orioles, they are leading the Cardinals right now 5-0. The Red Sox are trailing the Brewers 2-0, and all other teams will play a little later on. Before we get you over to Ben and Chris, who again are standing by for the call of today's ball game, let's get to the starting lineups for the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette is batting leadoff. He is at shortstop. It's a DH day for Vladdy. He is batting second. Batting third is Dalton Varsho. He's in center field. Alejandro Kirk is batting cleanup. He is catching. Anthony Santander is in right field batting fifth. Batting sixth is Addison Barger. He is at third base. Batting seventh for the Blue Jays at first base is Ernie Clement. Batting eighth is Michael Stefanik at second base. Nathan Lucas wraps things up. He is batting ninth in left field. Kevin Gausman, whose strikeouts you just heard, makes another start for the Blue Jays. We are getting very close to first pitch. You're about to see and hear Jacob deGrom very shortly. So let's get to first pitch at Globe Life Field. Here's the call of the game. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue with the call.
Thank you very much. Jacob deGrom getting loose before the first inning. A first inning that's brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. For deGrom, his 11th start of the season, the 36-year-old 6'4" right-hander is 4-1 with a 2.33 ERA. In 10 starts, his last outing, 7 innings in the Bronx against the Yankees, only gave up 2 runs. It has been a complete throwback to 3-4 years ago, where deGrom was and now is one of the best in the game.
And he's been great. There's really no sugarcoating it. You look back to the majority of his starts this season, the fastball is explosive. The slider looks exactly like it did when he won his 2 Cy Youngs, and then you sprinkle in that changeup, and he's pretty much unhittable.
deGrom facing home plate in the all-whites. Bo Bichette in the box. The wind, kick, and offering is lined back up the middle, and that's going to be caught in center by Wyatt Langford. Bo got a good piece of that, but turned it around too hard, and it's 1 pitch, 1 out. Time of the first pitch today is 4:08 Eastern. Unlike Tampa, they have a roof in Texas, and that roof is closed right now in Arlington. 26 degrees and some thunderstorms outside in Arlington, but that doesn't matter to the Blue Jays or Jacob deGrom, who brings the glove down, kicks and offers to Vlad Guerrero. 96 on the outside edge, strike 1. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 276 hitter, 809 OPS, the 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Top 4 did not produce a lot for the Blue Jays in that series against Tampa Bay. 1-1. Swing and a miss at 97, 1-2.
That's a good cut right there. 97, up and in. Vlad probably wanted to take that pitch deep.
Vlad did go deep in the last series. He had a home run in Game 2. He had a hit and a walk in Game 3. So while there wasn't much going on from the top 4, he was involved in it a bit. 1 out in the 1-2. Down and away at 98. Blue Jays in their royal blues today. Gray pants. 2-2 pitch. Tap back to the mound. DeGrom gloves it. Former infielder in college throws over to first. 2 outs.
That was the slider right there. That's the big strikeout pitch for Jacob DeGrom. Throws it right down the middle, and then it darts below that strike zone. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was just way out in front of it.
So 2 outs and the base is empty. No score in this game, top of the first. Dalton Varsho to hit for Toronto. DeGrom's mix, fastball, slider, changeup, and curve. Four-seamer averages about 97. You'll see it half the time. Slider almost makes up the entire other half, and it's high 80s to 90. Pitch to Varsho. Starts him with a curve for strike 1. Home plate umpire today is Will Little. Ryan Addington at first. Ryan Wills at second, and Lance Barksdale at third. The 0-1 offering. Hit well out to deep right field. Hooking toward the pole. It's gone. First inning blast for Dalton Varsho. Caught a slider over the middle, and his 8th of the year makes it 1-0 Toronto.
Well, that slider was almost right down the middle. Didn't really do all that much. It was just a spinner. You don't really see those very often. You could see Jacob DeGrom shaking his head after that one, but Dalton Varsho doing a good job jumping all over that mistake. You're not going to get many mistakes from Jacob DeGrom, and he hammered that one right there.
Makes it even more important to punish the mistakes when you do, and that's a big first inning lead for the Blue Jays. Pitch down to Alejandro Kirk. 97 outside, ball 1. You look back at Jacob DeGrom's last 3 home starts, he had allowed 1 run in 19 innings on 1 extra base hit. Blue Jays already have a run and an extra base hit in the first. The 1-0. Outside again at 98, 2-0. Kirk batting .284 on the year, right-handed hitter, faces a 2-0 offering. And takes it just below the knees, ball 3. Rare lapse in command early on for DeGrom, serving up the homer and then missing 3 straight times on fastballs to Kirk. Expect a take sign here. Here's the 3-0. And it's 98 on the corner, strike 1.
Jacob DeGrom only has 12 walks this season and almost 60 innings pitched. So like you said, a rare 3-0 count. Well, 3-1 now.
Kirk takes a second, staring at his barrel of the bat, takes a deep breath and steps back in. The 3-1. Called a strike. Put that slider right on the corner to make it 3-2. 1-0 Blue Jays thanks to the solo shot by Dalton Varsho. Top of the first inning, 2 outs, and the bases are empty. DeGrom's 3-2 pitch. Hit in the air out to center field. Creeping to his right, Wyatt Langford makes a one-handed catch to end the inning. A run for the Blue Jays on the Varsho blast. 1 hit, nobody left. 1-0 Toronto. Middle of the first. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Breaking news. Bet365 must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Jose Berrios, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer today. Austin Mackey, our technical director. 1-0 for the Blue Jays as Kevin Gausman wraps up his warm-ups in the bottom of the first inning. For Gausman, it's start 11 on the year, 4-4 with a 4.03 ERA. 34-year-old from Colorado. We mentioned earlier, coming off one of his best starts, if not his best of the year, 7 shutout innings against the San Diego Padres in that 14-0 Blue Jays win. He'll start with the DH. Switch hitter batting left, Sam Haggerty leads off for Texas. Gausman's pitch. Fastball cracked out to left center field. Racing back Dalton Varsho, and he's got room to make the catch in front of the track. Much bigger outfield here at Globe Life Field than there was last series at Steinbrenner Field.
Yeah, that's a big first out for Kevin Gausman. Just fill up that strike zone. He has no walks in his last 3 starts. That tells me that he's really filling up that strike zone, pounding that strike zone. It'll be big for him to do that today, especially with the big outfield in Texas.
And with all due respect to the 2023 World Series champs, they have not hit much so far this year. Pitch now to Josh Smith, shows bunt, pulls it back and takes a strike, 0-1. So there's not much reason to pitch around these guys. The Rangers averaging the second fewest runs per game in the American League at 3.37. Only the Kansas City Royals are below them. In fact, the White Sox are ahead of them. A 1 pitch, 95 at the knees. Not going to be a lot of hitting today if he's making pitches like that. It's 0-2.
Well, he threw a lot of those fastballs down at the bottom of that strike zone in his last start. He's looking a lot like that guy, at least early on in this start so far.
Smith, the shortstop, batting left, open stance. The 0-2. Line foul, a good fastball up high and outside. Just for context on the runs per game, while the Blue Jays certainly have not been murderer's row Yankees this year, they're averaging more than half a run more than the Rangers are. Blue Jays are near 4 per game. Rangers are much closer to 3. 0-2 pitch hit on the ground right side, snared by Ernie Clement to a man first today. He goes to the bag, takes the ball out of his trapper and tosses it around the horn. 2 down.
How about that? Ernie Clement, he's smooth at short, smooth at third. Now he makes a nice little play over there at first base.
Clement at first because Vlad's DHing today. It's a pretty unique right side of the infield with Clement and Stefanik manning first and second respectively.
I also forgot to mention that he's pretty good at second base as well.
Yes. Not a bad shortstop either.
Yeah.
And your emergency catcher when you need it. 2 down, the pitch to Wyatt Langford, right-handed hitter, pops it up. Back of second base, Varsho is sprinting into shallow center, waves off Stefanik, and Varsho makes the catch to end the inning. Very tidy for Kevin Gausman, a 1-2-3 bottom of the first, and it's 1-0 Blue Jays after 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The pills will make you dance.
Feel the energy and the impact of SiriusXM Octane.
Immerse yourself in a community of hard rock extremists.
World premieres,
Live performances.
and artist takeovers.
A giant thank you to the entire Octane community for keeping rock alive.
Turn up new hard rock.
Turn up Octane.
Tonight, Channel 37 and at home with the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
Jays fans, John Schneider joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern on SiriusXM 89 and the SiriusXM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus. Play responsibly. Ontario only. DeGrom deals to Anthony Santander. It's a fastball down the middle for strike one. 1-0 for the Blue Jays over the Rangers. Dalton Varsho with a first inning homer on a hanging slider. DeGrom, the two-time Cy Young, kicks and offers. Backdoor slider, strike two. Jacob DeGrom, for a while, probably the best pitcher in the game. 0-2. In the dirt with the slider, ball one. You look at a period where he debuts in 2014, wins Rookie of the Year, still finds it over the next couple years, but then back-to-back Cy Youngs, 2018, 2019. 1-2. Fastball hit foul, high in the air, out of play right side. He's an all-star 4 times with the Mets, wins the ERA title with a 170 in 2018, leads the National League in strikeouts in 2019 and in the shortened 2020 season. And there is no one better in the game. First base side of the rubber, he's facing home plate. 6'4" right-hander, steps to the left, kicks and offers. And it's fouled off of his own ankle by Santander. Still 1-2.
Here's a question for you, Ben. You're a GM and you're putting together a team, and you can take one of these two guys. Prime Jacob DeGrom or prime Clayton Kershaw?
In today's game?
Sure.
DeGrom.
All right.
Throws harder.
I chose that. I chose him too.
1-2 pitch. Chopped on the ground to second base. Backhanded there by Semien. He throws over to first to Jake Berger. 1 down.
That's the changeup right there. He doesn't throw it all that much, just 10% of the time. But when he does, it really gets you off of the fastball, puts it in the back of your mind, and then it makes that 98 mile an hour fastball seem even harder.
DeGrom has the combination of being one of the best stuff guys in the game, but also pitching. He's not just going out there relying on his velocity and movement. His offering to Addison Barger, cut on and miss, strike one. And you see some of that in his ability to adjust coming off multiple injuries now. He's dropped the arm angle lower. So the fastball's coming out of a little bit of a different slot. 0-1. Grounded back to the mound. Nice stop by DeGrom on a bounce. He throws over to first, and there are 2 down.
A lot of people don't know this, but he was a shortstop in college at Stetson, and that's a big-time D1 university. This is a guy that can really field the baseball. He's a true athlete out there.
He wasn't a two-way player. He was only a shortstop for 2 years at Stetson, converted over to being a pitcher in his final year with the Hatters. Pitch now to Ernie Clement with 2 outs. Swing and a miss, strike one.
I'm assuming his arm across the diamond looked a lot like Addison Barger's from third base.
Probably.
I'm only assuming. I never saw him play, but
neither did I. He did homer off Chris Sale as a college player. 0-1. Outside 1-1. Although he was mostly a light hitter, defensive shortstop. There was a summer where the story goes, Davey Johnson was managing him in the summer. They wanted to convert him. There was an argument. He still wanted to play short. He left the team. 1-1. Hit on the ground to the left side, vacuumed up at short by Smith. Josh Smith over to first. And that will do it for the inning. 3 groundouts forced by Jacob DeGrom, who's starting to deal in Texas. 1-0 Blue Jays, middle of the second. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000-plus home hardware and building center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. He gets Verdugo for his 7th strikeout.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning on a Memorial Day matinee in Arlington, Texas. The Blue Jays are up 1-0. Bottom of the second about to start with Josh Young, the cleanup hitter, hitting for Texas. Kevin Gausman bouncing the left foot, kicks and offers. And it's 93 at the knees, strike one. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for tuning in today. Both of these teams looking to stop what's been a bit of a downward slide recently. 0-1. Called a strike, 0-2. If you're tuning into this broadcast, you probably know what happened to the Blue Jays in their last series, scoring 2 runs total and getting swept by Tampa Bay. For the Rangers, the positive or the negative momentum goes back 2 series. They just had a 6-day road trip where they won 1 game. It was against the White Sox, and it was the final game of that series. They were almost swept by the White Sox in Chicago. 0-2. Lifted to right field. Moving in and toward the foul line is Santander. He brings it in with one hand. 1 out.
I know it's early, but Kevin Gausman is really locating that fastball well. 2 good fastballs to the bottom of the strike zone, and then a good 4-seam fastball right at the top of the strike zone for out number 1.
And that was what Buck Martinez had mentioned when he went on Blair and Barker earlier today. They had asked why there were so many swings and misses on the splitter. And Buck had related it to the fastball, that he threw it both up and down for strikes. So all of a sudden you couldn't just lock the fastball into one area and lock the splitter into one area. Now Gausman deals a slider to Jake Berger and gets a swing and a miss. So he's got all 3 pitches working early on. It's 0-1.
Well, I agree with Buck. It all hinges on that fastball. If he's locating that fastball all over the strike zone where he wants to, I mean, the split finger just becomes that much more effective, especially with that arm speed, especially when it looks like a fastball.
1 out, base is empty. The 0-1 to Berger. Looping liner toward first, backing up Ernie Clement makes the play. Probably a lot more similar to the place he'd make up the middle of the field. Backpedaling to bring that in. There's 2 down.
And he's already doing a good job of throwing in. The Blue Jays really didn't do that in Tampa. They allowed the Rays to get big and get extended. That last fastball there tried to come in at the hands, and he located his fastball. Absolutely blew up Berger.
So 2 down, bases still empty. Catcher Jonah Heimbats, a switch hitter, hitting from the left side. Gausman rocks and deals. Fastball lifted toward left field. This one will be playable for Lucas. Camped under it, he makes the play, and Kevin Gausman has gone 6 up, 6 down on 13 pitches. Gausman retires the side in order again, and it's 1-0 Blue Jays going to the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. 365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Mami, tú solo escribes.
Hola, soy Andrés Jiménez y estás escuchando el béisbol de los Toronto Blue Jays en la cadena de Radio Sportnet.
Mami, tú solo escribes.
Jacob deGrom back on the hill. 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the third inning. deGrom into the wind will offer to Michael Stefanik to start the top of the third. First pitch popped up, back behind the plate, out of play, foul, 0-1. This third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Chatham and Wallaceburg. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center. Visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. deGrom yanks the slider down and away, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. We talked about it a bit last inning. Jacob deGrom's history as a position player, as the 1-1 is hit on the ground, is short. Josh Smith, gloves chest high, on the run, throws to first. 1 out. So deGrom, first 2 full seasons at Stetson. He's a shortstop third baseman. Pitched once in that time. Then they get this guy thrown a little bit, realize what he has in that arm, and he split time in 2010 between pitching and hitting. But as the year went on, pitched and pitched more as they were impressed with him at Stetson. 1 out, he offers to Nathan Lucas. Ball to strike.
Oh, you mean they were impressed by him throwing 98 miles an hour? Which I don't think he was in college, because he was a 9th-round draft pick.
He wasn't, and he didn't have success right away. You could see it was coming. 0-1. Hooked on the ground towards first, fielded deep by Berger. He'll flip back to the former shortstop deGrom, 2 down. But he has a 4.5 ERA that year in 82 1/3 innings pitched, and he only struck out 56 in 82. It wasn't like he was blowing everyone away, but he did still have mid-90s. Mets pick him in the 9th round, dealt with Tommy John immediately, but worked through that and ended up establishing himself in 2014. 2 outs, space is empty, 1-0 Blue Jays. The pitch to Bo Bichette. Outside, ball 1. There's a bunch of sliding doors moments for him, whether he becomes a position player, who he gets drafted by. And then even in 2014, he's probably going to be a reliever with the Mets. 1-0. Ball to strike, 1-1. And then Dylan G gets hurt. If you remember the name Dylan G, pitching for New York at that point. So they make him a starter. He wins Rookie of the Year. He never becomes a reliever after that. 1-1. Hit on the ground sharply, backhanded at second. Simeon tosses out his former middle infield mate in Bo Bichette. And that's a quick 1-2-3 inning. It looks like these 2 starters have dinner reservations after the game. We're already at the middle of the third, and it's 1-0 Blue Jays. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
U.S. Open Moments on SiriusXM.
Tiger Woods' performance at the 2000 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach was the most dominant in major championship history.
And Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history.
Tiger led wire to wire and rewrote the record books, becoming the first player to finish an Open double digits under par in a remarkable 15-shot win. U.S. Open week begins June 9th on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays baseball. Bottom of the third inning, 1-0. The Blue Jays leading the Texas Rangers. Alejandro Osuna batting for Texas. Kevin Gausman looking in, kicks and deals to the left-handed hitter. 94th and E's, strike one. Just the second major league game for the 22-year-old Osuna from the Sinaloa province in Mexico. A 1. Fouled off the end of the bat. He was way out in front of the splitter. 0-2.
He's really locating all of his pitches so well. The fastball and then that split finger up below the strike zone. You could see Osuna way out in front. Pretty uncomfortable with that pitch.
Long hair for Osuna. Eye black in thick lines underneath both of his eyes. So too. Splitter down and away. He takes it for ball one. Osuna, the younger brother of former Blue Jay Roberto Osuna, only played 8 games at AAA this year before he was called up to the big leagues. 1-2 pitch. High and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In 39 games in the minors this year between AA and AAA, he hit .279 with an .801 OPS. 15 extra base hits in those 39 games, including 2 home runs. 2-2. In the air out to center field. Dalton Varsho jogging forward, stops and makes the catch. 1 out. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Home plate is home plants. Score the run with Timbermart.ca. Find a major league selection of winning plays for house, garage, and backyard sheds. Visit Timbermart.ca and win the game with Canada's Building Center. I'm Ben Shulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Adolis Garcia is up right now for the Rangers, hero in their 2023 World Series run. Gausman's pitch. Fouled away, 0-1.
He's a big dude with a big swing. Kind of has a similar body to Yandy Diaz, just with a lot more power.
At his best, he hit 39 home runs in 2023. Has gone 25 or above in 4 straight seasons. 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. The issue for Garcia, though, is over this year and last year, it's become all or nothing all of a sudden, when before he'd still hit for a little bit of average and walk a little bit more. Down in an 0-2 hole, he bends his knees with an open stance from the right side. 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the third. 2-strike pitch from Kevin Gausman. Fastball lined over and knocked down by Stefanik. Picks it up, throws to first. Not in time. It was lined over the mound. Looked like it was lined over the infield, but Stefanik got a chunk of it. Didn't see that it dropped behind him until a second later, and that was the time Garcia needed to get to first.
Well, luckily for Garcia, he was busting it out of the box, running hard all the way. Was safe by a couple of steps at first base, but that fastball was supposed to be in. I like that sequence. You're trying to bust a big guy, a big power hitter inside, but it leaked over the middle of the plate, and Garcia hit a pretty hard single to center field.
Now Marcus Semien up. The pitch is lined out toward right center field. Charging in, it's caught by Santander. 2 down. It is not all about 2 guys. We've already talked about the Rangers struggling offensively this year. But you have to think if the Rangers are going to have a good year, it's probably not going to be with Garcia at 8 and Semien at 9. Those are two of their most important players, but they've had to put them down because they're just not producing this far.
I mean, if you have a good lineup that's producing and those guys are at 8 and 9, that's pretty awesome.
For the right reasons, yes, but they're not there because everyone else was hitting them out of their spots. Sam Haggerty up, and he hits the ball high in the air toward left field. Angling to the foul line, Lucas watches it go out of play into the seats.
No, I mean, you're right. That was a little bit of a joke, but to see Marcus Semien hitting in the 9 hole, Dolis Garcia in the 8 hole, that's not where the Texas Rangers want them to be. They want them to be producing, hitting, 3 and 5 or 2 and 5, somewhere around there. That's when you're at your best if you're a lineup.
Garcia on first, 2 outs, 1-0 Blue Jays, bottom 3. 0-1 to Sam Haggerty. Hit out in the air towards center field. It's looping. Varsho's charging, and he gets there in time to make the catch head high and end the inning. No runs on a hit, 1 left for the Rangers, and we're going to the 4th. Blue Jays up 1-0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
The football talk doesn't stop on Sirius XM NFL Radio.
They're mentally tough, they're physically tough, and they're talented.
From OTAs to mini camps and leading up to training camps, stay updated on the latest news around the National Football League.
You gotta practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Our experts are getting you ready for the 2025 season.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
There's a story for every team on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The 4th inning is presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19-plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 1-0 Blue Jays. DeGrom to Guerrero. Swing and a hard grounder left side, sneaks past the dive of Smith at short and rolls into left field for a base hit.
Another mistake from DeGrom. I'm not sure why he tried to flip in that slider there. Didn't break as much as his earlier sliders in the ball game, but it was kind of just over the middle of the plate, maybe outer third. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. does a good job. Didn't get all of that pitch, but got enough of it to sneak it through that left hole.
Vladdy on first and Dalton Varsho up, who homered in the first to give the Blue Jays this 1-0 lead. The pitch. Slider low, ball 1.
He's throwing a lot of sliders. I know he throws that slider 40% of the time, but just in odd counts right now, I feel like.
Well, and if anything, pretty much every pitcher recently has thrown more fastballs than usual to the Blue Jays. That was what the Rays did all series. The 1-0. Fastball, tap back, foul.
There's no better pitch than that. That was perfectly located, down and away, 96 miles an hour. If I'm Jacob deGrom, I just throw that.
Dalton Varsho asks for time. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer, and Austin Mackey, our technical director. Vladdy on first, 1-0 Blue Jays, top of the 4th. DeGrom from the stretch, offers home. That ball roped out toward right field, hanging up near the corner. It's down on the track, and it skips over the wall. DeGrom went with the changeup. It was low of the zone, but Varsho got the golf swing out, got under it, and he's got his second extra base hit today. It's 2nd and 3rd for the Blue Jays. Nobody out.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad pitch at all. It was a decent changeup with some movement on it downward. Like you said, below that strike zone. But Dalton Varsho obviously seeing Jacob deGrom very well right now. He goes down, he gets it, and hits that ground rule double out to right field. The Blue Jays cooking now. Runners on 2nd and 3rd and nobody out in this inning.
Infield comes halfway in for the Red Sox. Alejandro Kirk is up, and he takes down an away ball 1. This is the type of hitter you might want up in this situation. A high contact guy in Kirk. You're asking him to lift something to the outfield. Vladdy on 3rd. 1-0 pitch. Down and away ball 2. Looks like deGrom is hunting a strikeout against Kirk. Kirk has struck out 18 times so far this year. 1-0 top of the 4th. 2nd and 3rd. Nobody out. And the 2-0. Yanked the fastball outside, ball 3.
And with that infield in, that tells you just how important those runs out there on base right now are for the Texas Rangers. Like you said earlier in the ballgame, they're really struggling offensively, so every run matters. In a 3-0 count, Alejandro Kirk needs to get a fastball that's elevated, try to drive something.
3-0 pitch is a fastball hit out in the air to right field. Backing up, Garcia still backpedaling as he brings it in. Vladdy will tag and jog home. Dalton Varsho advances to 3rd, and Kirk does his job driving in a run to make it 2-0 in the 4th.
That's a really nice job from Alejandro Kirk. A lot of the time, 3-0, you'll get that take sign. But Alejandro Kirk got that elevated fastball out over the plate, maybe off the plate just a little bit. He knew that he could get underneath it, get some loft underneath it, and drive that run in from 3rd base. A good job from him.
And that's a team move there. You know, Kirk could take that pitch and walk, or he could say there's going to be a better pitch to hit coming up. But he knows that he can get a fly ball out of that pitch.
All right, great job from him.
And still an opportunity to bring in more. Runner on 3rd, 1 out. Anthony Santander grounds it foul to the right, out in front of that slider, 0-1.
And the infield is still in for the Texas Rangers. They don't want to go down 3-0 in this ball game.
Feels like every run is precious in this game, the way deGrom and Gausman have started. A 1 pitch is pop foul back behind home, 0-2. Santander still a little banged up with the hip and shoulder injuries, but he seemed to feel that actually playing in the field is better for him in that case, staying a little bit looser and moving around more rather than sitting in the dugout cold in between at-bats. 0-2. Slider low, ball 1.
That's a great take. He really has to shorten up here. A strikeout would be worst case scenario. You at least want to get the barrel to the baseball, try to score that run from 3rd base.
It's got the entirety pretty much of the left side of the infield to work with. They're shifted toward 1st. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a rocket on the ground to 1st. Coming to the plate, Varsho. The throw home by Berger is on the money. High applies the tag. And that'll be a fielder's choice. Varsho tagged out. Santander to 1st, now 2 down.
That's a tough result for Santander. He actually hit that ball pretty hard to 1st base. Jake Berger making a nice play, fielding that baseball. Dalton Varsho going on contact there, so he's thrown out pretty easily at home plate.
We'll see the Blue Jays a lot of the time with 1 out send the guy on contact, and you put pressure on Berger there, but Berger delivered with the perfect throw. 2 outs, 2-0 Toronto. Runner on 1st, and deGrom was about to commit a pitch clock violation, so he steps off before the first pitch to Addison Barger. Power matchup. Barger hitting from the left side. deGrom offers. Swing and a line drive, left center field, base hit, landing down in the alley. Cut off in left center by the center fielder Langford to limit Santander to only 2nd base. It's a single for Barger. He's on 1st, and there's 2 outs.
That's another slider right down the middle, a little spinner. He's thrown a lot of those to lefties today, but Addison Barger doing a good job staying on that pitch, not trying to do too much, and just hammers that thing the other way. Another good swing from him.
It is amazing. The slider has been the pitch that they have touched up the most. That's been his best pitch this year. 2 outs, Ernie Clement up. First pitch fastball is lifted to shallow right center. Moving in Garcia. Semien backing up, and it'll be Adolis Garcia, the right fielder, to call it, make the catch, and end the inning. The Blue Jays score another run. They come up with 3 hits. Varsho with the ground rule double. Set up the sac fly by Kirk. It's 2-0 Blue Jays after 3.5. Middle of the fourth, you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Join us for Cricket Day at the Park, presented by TD, Saturday, May 31st. Arrive early to receive your Blue Jays Cricket warm-up jacket giveaway, presented by TD, created in collaboration with Cricket Canada. Don't miss out on being a part of the Cricket Day spectacle at Rogers Center. Find your seats at bluejays.com.
Not tomorrow, not someday. The home improvements begin today. It's game on with Timber Mart. Build that deck, raise that fence, landscape till your property is beautiful. Make no payments for 12 months with the Timber Mart Deferred Payment Program. Apply for a Timber Mart project card today and pay later, 12 months later. Financing provided by Fairstone Financial Inc. Conditions apply. Ask in-store.
What's up, baseball fans? Happy Sunday afternoon, a day game today. The Blue Jays and the Rays, thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon and spending your Sunday with us here on TSI, cheering on our Blue Jays. Both teams with the exact same.
It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He keeps this game tied
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the fourth inning, Blue Jays leading the Rangers 2-0. Kevin Gausman's only thrown 23 pitches as he offers to Josh Smith to start the frame. Swing and a miss on a good splitter, 0-1. Gausman has now thrown 24 pitches. 22 of them have been strikes. In fact, he threw only strikes on his 12 pitches in the first 2 innings. Righty's 0-1 in the dirt. Of course he threw a ball there, but Gausman became 2025's first starter to not throw a ball in the first 2 innings, not one.
Also, that last pitch was nowhere near the strike zone.
It was just about his biggest miss of the day. So now he's at a shocking 3 balls thrown in 25 pitches. The 1-1. Swing and a ground ball to first. Picked up Clement. He's been busy today, but he's been good as he steps on the bag. There's 1 out.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian owned and operated since 1992. It's the return of the Big Cluckin' Deal. All you can eat wings are on now for a limited time. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome, Ben.
The Big Cluckin' Deal. I like it. A couple finals today. The Cubs beat the Rockies. 3-1 was the final. The Rockies are now 9-45. And the Tigers beat the Giants 3-1 as well. Pitch here to Wyatt Langford. Misses up and in, ball 1. 2-0 Blue Jays, 1 out, bases empty in the fourth. Got a couple AL East teams in action right now. Their games in the final stages. It's the 9th inning in Milwaukee, and the Brewers clinging to a 3-2 lead over the Red Sox. Boston threatening them. 1-0. Langford takes down the middle, strike 1. Red Sox have the bases loaded last I looked with 2 outs in the 9th. So the tying run on third, but 2 outs. And then the Orioles are winning right now over the Cardinals. Nice day for Charlie Morton. 1-1. Swing and a deep drive out to left field, and Langford has left the yard. A line drive smash from Wyatt Langford. Texas on the board. It's 2-1 for the Blue Jays over the Rangers in the fourth.
Not a bad pitch, but Langford was clearly looking for that fastball in. It was a fastball right on the black, on the inside part of the plate, and Langford just ripped that bat through the zone. and hammered a home run out to left field. 113 miles an hour off the bat, 373 feet, just beyond that fence and left.
Langford is the team's home run leader, 10th now on the season for the center fielder. And some life for Texas, their second hit of the day. First time a guy made it past first base today with one out the pitch to Josh Young. Down and away, ball one.
Wyatt Langford's a good young player, just drafted in 2023 out of Florida.
Really good player. I mean, he was in the conversation to go first overall, and that was the year Paul Skeens got drafted. 1-0. Young takes a pitch called a strike. That certainly was not a strike. It was low, but Gausman will take it 1-1.
Was Langford ever seriously in the conversation, though, or was that just people having fun with it?
He was. I actually think people have forgotten how controversial it was that Skeens was the first pick. 1-1 is cut on and missed 1 and 2. Leading up to the draft, Langford and Cruz had as much, if not more, momentum than Skeens had at one point. Clearly, the Pirates made a very good decision picking Paul Skeens.
I always lean towards pitchers. I don't know why. They're just because you can see what they are. I think that's the biggest thing for me. You can't really see what a hitter is because they're not really facing top tier pitching.
Gausman's 1-2 in the dirt to Josh Young. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-1 Blue Jays. 1 out. Bases empty. Bottom of the 4th. Josh Young drafted pretty high himself. He was the 8th overall pick in 2019 out of Texas Tech. 2-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Splitter near the back foot gets Young to chase. 2 down.
That's a gross splitter right there. Down and in. Looked like a fastball in. You could see that Young was probably thinking something hard on the inside part of the play, and that thing just dove below the bat.
It's actually the first strikeout of the day for Kevin Gausman. It's been so efficient, he's barely even got to 2 strikes today, getting guys out with the first or second pitch pretty often. Jake Berger will hit now. Another guy drafted pretty high. First pitch cut on and missed, strike 1.
35 pitches in the ball game. We're in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs. That's incredible.
And he gives up the 1 home run, but fine, you're going after guys. You give up a solo shot. Blue Jays still leading 2-1. 0-1 to Berger. Swing and a miss at a splitter in the dirt, 0-2. Berger was the 11th overall pick in 2017 by the White Sox out of Missouri State. But due to multiple Achilles tears, didn't get going in his pro career really until 2021.
Good last name, though.
Good last name. When he hits a homer, they call it a smash burger. First year in Texas for Berger. Gausman's 0-2. Splitter bounced. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Came up with the White Sox, did Berger. Traded over to the Marlins in 2023. Enjoyed a pretty big 2023 season overall. And then picked up by Texas this year. Rangers moved off the World Series champ, Silver Slugger and Gold Glover in Nate Lowe to bring in Berger. 1-2 pitch. Fastball, yanked it just outside. They were trying to go up and in. It missed up and away.
Looked like home plate umpire Will Little thought about it for a quick second. Wasn't a bad pitch, just outside.
Gausman brings his hands together at the belt, bouncing the left foot. He comes still, and now the 2-2. Line over the hill. It hops, and it's picked up the middle by Stefanik, the second baseman, who overhand tosses to first to end the inning. Rangers on the board. Solo home run by Wyatt Langford. It's 2-1 Blue Jays after 4 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Ross Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be kind. Rewind to the best of the 90s. Get jiggy with 90s hip-hop and R&B on Sirius XM Fly. Feel the angst of 90s grunge on Lithium. Or relive pop hits that are all that and a bag of chips on 90s on 9.
Check out these and many other 90s channels at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, or other internet-connected devices. Just search 90s.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
This is Mike Farron from Power Alley. When you work together as long as former general manager Jim Duquette and I have...
5 years.
13. Regardless, we know everything about each other, like my favorite city.
New York.
Chicago. My favorite food.
Hot dog with lots of ketchup.
Gross. My favorite musician.
Billy Joel.
Somehow even more gross. Jim, what do you actually know about me?
You love baseball, just like me.
Join us for baseball talk and apparently very little else on Power Alley, weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
Well said, Mitch.
It's Mike.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Top of the 5th inning. Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. 2-1, the Blue Jays lead the Rangers as Jacob deGrom deals to Michael Stefanik. Stefanik squares to bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike. 0-1. Stefanik, a former Angel, so he's seen this ballpark, Globe Life Field, home of the Texas Rangers. 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pretty big flip, too, for the Blue Jays going from a minor league ballpark, a single-A park in Tampa, to now going to one of the newer, nicer parks in baseball as the 1-1 is lofted out to center. Playable for Langford. It's caught for the first out. John Schneider said, now he was being a little tongue-in-cheek, but he said it was like going from Motel 6 to the Ritz on this road trip, going from George M. Steinbrenner Field to Globe Life Field.
Hey, come on. I'm sure the Yankees would have something to say about that. They put a lot of money into that that spring training complex.
Well, unless they put about $5 billion in, they're still a little bit behind Globe Life Field. 1 out. deGrom on 50 pitches in the 5th. Offers to the left-handed hitter Nathan Lucas. Low ball 1. This 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Lucas 0 for 1. Grounded out in the 3rd inning. The 1-0. Outside. Skips off the glove of Heim and rolls to the backstop. 2 balls, no strikes. For Jacob deGrom, this is his 2nd career start against the Blue Jays. He's in the National League for most of his career, so didn't face Toronto much. 2-0. Down and away, ball 3. deGrom beat the Blue Jays in 2020, facing them on September 11th at Salem Field in an 18-1 Mets win. 3-0 pitch. Ball to strike. He went 6 that day, only gave up 1 run and 3 hits and punched out 9. It was a Vlad Guerrero Jr. RBI single that scored the 1 Blue Jays run that day. 3-1. Outside, ball 4. A 5-pitch walk issued to Lucas. First walk of the day for deGrom.
Just his 13th walk this season. A really good at-bat from Nathan Lucas. It looked like he was taking 3-0 all the way. Took that strike, and then a good take there on a fastball just off the plate.
They haven't been rocking him around, but I feel like I can speak for you when I say that there's been much more traffic than we would have expected against Jacob deGrom earlier.
Well, he hasn't been perfect. He's been good, but he hasn't been perfect.
Pitch to Bo Bichette outside, ball 1. deGrom in year 3 of the largest pitching contract in Rangers history. 5 years, $185 million. 1-0. Down and away, 2-0. It's the 3rd richest contract in terms of total money the Rangers have ever given out. Do you think you know the other 2?
The Rangers?
Rangers' richest contracts. deGrom is 3rd at 185. And I'll give you a pitch to think. deGrom set at the belt. Runner on first, 1 out. And the 2-0 to Bichette. Outside, ball 3. He's really lost the zone.
Well, Scherzer was given by the Mets.
Yeah, and I think it was too short-term of a deal. These need to be long-term deals because it's total money, not money.
You can go ahead and just tell me.
All right. Alex Rodriguez signed that huge $250 million deal in 2000. That's the second biggest one, 3-0 on the corner, strike one. Still, I mean, you look at that deal now, and you think about inflation and what it would be worth today. I mean, that was such a monster contract.
Prince Fielder.
Not Prince Fielder. It's a current player on the Rangers is number one.
Seager.
Corey Seager. 3-1 pitch to Bichette. Down and away, ball four. Back-to-back walks issued by DeGrom. First and second for the Blue Jays, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. about to come up.
So I have to be honest, I didn't quite hear your question all the way. And I assumed it was just pitchers. I assumed you were talking about pitchers.
So he is the richest pitching contract of all time for them. Actually, if you look at free agent pitching contracts they've signed, as Mike Maddox is going to go out and talk to him, he's $100 million more than that in total money than the next guy. The second largest total money free agent pitching contract is Nathan Eovaldi, 3 years, $75.
Who's really good.
But Jacob DeGrom, 5'185", is an albatross, not in a bad way, but just clearly ahead of any other pitcher they've ever signed. And it was a bit of a risk. As good as he is, the injuries this guy has endured have been substantial, really, for DeGrom.
But when he's good, he is good, and he's a lot of fun to watch. He hasn't been perfect today, but he's still a lot of fun to watch.
Rangers are getting someone up and throwing right now. Looks like the left-hander Hobie Milner's getting loose. Maybe something to pay attention to. DeGrom threw over 100 pitches in his last start. It was the most he had thrown in his start since 2021. So perhaps that just lack of sharpness is coming with a little fatigue. First and second, one out. From the stretch, he deals to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Outside, ball one. He's really yanking that fastball. All of his misses to the same spot.
Yeah, the velocity on his pitches is pretty normal. I would say 96 to 98 with that fastball, but it's just the location, the command that really is a tiny bit off.
The 1-0. Hit back foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And like you said, it could be from fatigue.
And this is a guy who, coming into this start, had made only 45 starts since 2021 across 255 and a third innings pitched. Just has not stayed on the field really since 2020. The 1-1. Down and away with the slider. 2 balls, 1 strike.
That's actually a really good take from Vlad. You could see him following that pitch all the way. Looked like a fastball right down the middle and then took a left turn.
Vlad's got a hit today and a run scored. Blue Jays leading 2-1, 2 on, 1 out. DeGrom rocks and offers. Fastball right on the corner, strike 2.
That's vintage DeGrom right there. Just perfectly located on the black outside.
Vlad taps the plate, looks out to the 6'4" right-hander. 2 balls and 2 strikes. DeGrom nods, he's got the signal, and he's set at the bell. A look at second, one more peek, and the 2-2. Swing and a line drive, right field, hanging up, underhanded catch by Adolis Garcia. Both runners will hold up where they are as the throw goes back into the shortstop Smith. There's 2 down.
Well, you can't hit any better than Vlad did. Pretty hard line drive out to Garcia in right field. Squared that fastball up. Was just a little bit behind.
So 2 down now, top of the 5th. Blue Jays leading 2-1. On the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Red Sox Brewers has gone final. The Brewers winning 3-2 over the Red Sox, opening up that series. 2 on for the Blue Jays, 2 outs. Dalton Varshaw's up. He's got a homer and a double today against DeGrom. And DeGrom steps off. The double was a ground rule double that bounced over the wall in the corner and right. If not for it getting out of play, maybe it's a triple or at least maybe an RBI double. First pitch, fouled right back, fastball elevated, 0-1.
Dalton Varsho might be one of the few guys in the league that says, at least after this game, I can't wait to face Jacob DeGrom.
Still, I don't know. Feels like a dangerous thing to say. Right on left, here's the 0-1. Hit back foul, 2 high fastballs. It's 0-2.
That makes sense because he's hit a changeup below the strike zone and a hanging slider for a home run and a double.
We kind of expected DeGrom to come out today and throw a lot of heaters, especially to a guy like Varsho. Does a lot of damage on non-fastballs. With 2 4-seamers, he's ahead of Varsho, 0-2. 2 on and 2 out. The pitch. Hooked on the ground towards first. Backhanded Berger circling around the bag. He flips to DeGrom, who just beats Varsho to end the inning. The Blue Jays walked twice, but they leave both on. Do not score. It's 2-1 Toronto, middle of the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tariffs, exchange rates, cash flow. In the face of the current storm, Canadian entrepreneurs need to forge ahead. And BDC, the Business Development Bank of Canada, is with you every step of the way with strategic advice and financing solutions adapted to your reality. It's time to take action, to tackle the uncertainty, and to come out stronger. Together, let's keep moving forward. BDC, financing, advising, know-how.
Sometimes I feel a bit helpless with the state of the world, and it feels really hard to make an impact on people's lives. I donate because it makes me feel better to know that I can actually do something today to help people. Donating blood helps me feel like I'm making a difference in the world.
Canadian Blood Services. Experience what you get when you give. Book an appointment at blood.ca. Bright sunshine day.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with a multi-dog transporter, mud navigator, a Rainmaster slope pilot, remote campsite finder, a moose country guide, a gravel handler, a very slushy surface controller, windy road stabilizer, spinning wheel avoider, a four-legged mammal attractor, surprise snow detector, plus a... Oh, and we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Blue Jays up 3-2 on a wacky play to give Toronto the lead.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays baseball is presented by Crown Rust Protection. Bottom of the 5th inning, Blue Jays 2, Rangers 1. Kevin Gausman back out on the hill. His first pitch of the 5th will be his 40th pitch only so far today. Starts with the number 6 hitter in the Rangers order. Brief Oakland Athletic and now a longtime Ranger catcher Jonah Heim. Gausman's pitch. Looped out to right field. Charging in Santander. It's going to drop in front of him for a base hit. Heim waited back, slow swing on the splitter, and it was almost better he didn't hit it hard as it fell in front of Santander.
Yeah, that's a good leadoff hit. A tough pitch for Kevin Gausman. A good splitter, like you said, below the strike zone. Heim just hits that thing off the end of the bat. A big leadoff hit for the Rangers.
Rangers got one last inning on the Wyatt Langford solo homer. They're now up to 3 hits on the day. Alejandro Osuna up, left-handed hitter, open stance. The pitch. Called a strike. Osuna, 22 years old, 5'9", 185 pounds. Signed with the Rangers in the fall of 2020. He was actually about to turn 18 years old, a lot later than most prospects sign internationally. Now he'll take down and away, 1-1. Rangers liked his year enough last year to send him to the Arizona Fall League. The 1-1. Back pick over to first as the pitch misses high. Heim dives back in, and it's now a 2-1 count. Osuna in the Fall League hit over 300, came back. Played pretty well at AA and then very well at AAA in 8 games before getting called up. Two-one pitch. Line out to left center field and down for a base hit. Moving up to second is Heim, and the first two are aboard for the Rangers here in the bottom of the fifth.
And again, not a bad pitch. It was a split finger off the plate outside, but you could see Osuna a little bit out in front, but he kept that bat back and just flicked it for his first major league hit.
Second game for Osuna. He gets a big applause. The hit comes in his fifth at-bat, and they will mark that baseball and authenticate it for the young left-handed hitter from Mexico. Globe Life Field starting to get energized now. 2 runners aboard here in a 2-1 game in favor of the Blue Jays. Adolis Garcia is up. He's singled in the third. The pitch. Fouled off 0-1. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. First game for the Blue Jays in Arlington, Texas. The 0-1. Up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I like that pitch. You have to show in to a big guy like Garcia. You're not going to want him to get those arms extended. And now that opens up the outside part of the plate for the slider, for the split finger. Even another fastball in would be good here. Surprise him a little bit.
Osmond stares at second. Now the 1-1 is a splitter low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Fastball has given some problems to Adolis Garcia. He's seeing a career-high 64% fastballs and hitting below 240 against them. 2-1. Line shot foul. Got out in front of a splitter down and in and roped it into the side fence. 2-2.
Yeah, he was all over that split finger. I'm Kevin Gausman. I'm throwing something hard here. Like you said, he hasn't hit fastballs all that well this season.
Gausman will have an extra sec to think about it. Garcia put the right hand up to ask for time. First and second for the Rangers. Osuna on first, Heim on second. Nobody out. 2-1, bottom of the fifth. Here's the 2-2. No, it's the inside move as Gausman looks back to second base. Didn't throw over there, but will just chase Heim back to the bat.
Nothing better than the old inside move.
It's probably the most effective pickoff move in baseball. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He went down with the splitter. It strikes out Garcia. Second punch out of the day for Gausman.
That's another good split finger. He's thrown a bunch of them in this inning. Hasn't had a lot of luck with the first 2 hitters, but that one right there was a perfect split finger below the strike zone. Adolis Garcia swinging right through it for out number 1.
Still traffic on the base paths and trouble to work through here for Gausman. First and second, 1 out. 2-1 Blue Jays, bottom 5. Right-handed hitting Marcus Semien is up. Gausman's pitch. Ball to strike. Semien had that huge year with the Blue Jays in 2021. Hit 45 homers, most in a single season by any second baseman. And drove in 102, both of those career highs. 0-1. Down and in, 1 ball, 1 strike. He hasn't quite produced to that level as a Texas Ranger, but big year in 2023 when they won the World Series, was big in the World Series. This season has been a steep drop so far for the right-handed hitter. 1-1. Swinging a foul off on a splitter in 1-2. You're looking at a guy right now who's batting 176 with an OPS below 500. That is just not something even close to what we're used to from one of the better middle infielders of the last decade. The 1-2. Yanked the splitter down and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And if you look back at his numbers, he's usually not a huge strikeout guy, but this season 47 strikeouts already and just 188 at bats. Obviously something's off. He's not seeing the ball well or something mechanically, but he's just not the same guy.
2-2. Down and away with a heater, ball 3, and you certainly don't want to lose him right now. It's already first and second, and the top of the order's coming up after Semien. It's a tricky spot where he is the 9 hitter. He does have the numbers he has right now. But in the back of Kevin Gausman's mind, you're not treating this like your typical 9-hitter. It's Marcus Semien. 3-2 pitch. Hit high in the air out to right field. Backing up Santander. Angling to right center. Makes the grab. Tagging from second. Hyde will advance up to third. Or Heim, pardon me. And now 2 down. Runners on the corners.
Well, I think Semien helped him out there. That fastball was off the plate, probably ball 4, but I like the fact that Kevin Gausman challenged him with a well-located fastball. You don't want to throw a split finger there or even a slider, potentially walk him. I like that fastball choice there.
So 2 outs, first and third for the Rangers. 2-1 for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 5th. Switch hitter Sam Haggerty comes up right now for Texas. And a happy birthday to Haggerty. Turned 31 years old today, the Phoenix, Arizona native. Gausman kicks and deals. Outside with the splitter, ball 1. Haggerty has mostly taken over that leadoff spot that Marcus Semien would have occupied had the start of the season gone better for him. 1-0. Outside again with the split, 2-0. We probably have to come with something hard here. That is typically, though, what Haggerty's looking for. In his limited time so far this year, he's got 10 hits. 8 of them have come off fastballs. 2-0. Swing and a miss. He went right back to the splitter, not wanting to give him that heater. It's 2-1.
I think it's because it's the tying run on third base, and you do have the open base at second base. You could potentially be careful with them and move on to the next hitter, but I like that pitch there. You don't have to throw a fastball in this situation.
First and third, 2 outs, the 2-1. Splitter again, check swing, appeal down to third base, and he did go, says Lance Barksdale, much to the disappointment of the Globe Life Field crowd. It's 2-2.
I didn't think he went. I'd love to see a side view. I think we're about to get one. He did go.
Yeah. He did a good job of selling it, but he did go. Gausman's thrown him 4 splitters. Only one of them's been in the zone, but it's a 2-2 count. 2-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 5th. With runners on the corners and 2 down, the 2-2 from Kevin Gausman. Check swing on a splitter low, appeal to third, and he won again, says Lance Barksdale, punching him out to end the bottom of the 5th inning. 2 hits to start the frame by the Rangers, but they leave runners on the corners. It's 2-1 Toronto after 5. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Decking isn't just about wood. It's about creating the perfect outdoor retreat, and it all begins with the right materials. Essentials you always find at Trex, the leader in composite decking for over 30 years. Sustainable, durable, beautiful. Trex isn't just decking, it's a lifestyle. From homeowners to pros, everyone knows Trex delivers unmatched quality. Ready to transform your backyard into a dream space? Find Trex at Timber Mart, Canada's building center, where your outdoor vision comes to life.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news. Spring fashion is heating up at TSC.ca with a wave of top brands and new styles. I'm here with one happy shopper. What did you score?
Oh, where do I start? New designer heels from Ron White, a cute Hillary McMillan jacket, a stunning Avera diamond bracelet, everything I need for spring.
And what's the damage report on your wallet?
Oh, I split all my purchases into interest-free Easy Pay payments. No damage to report here.
Shop now, pay over time. I love it. Discover the latest spring fashion at TSC.ca. Exciting offers every day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Way back, and Jimenez has done it again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
It's the 6th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins.com/care today. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. It's the top of the 6th inning. The Blue Jays, after a gutsy bottom of the 5th from Kevin Gausman, maintain a 2-1 lead. And Jacob deGrom steps back on the hill. He's thrown 68 pitches so far. Right-hander offers to Alejandro Kirk. High ball 1. Or pardon me, called strike at the top of the zone. It is great to see Jacob deGrom on a mound, looking healthy. His 0-1 pitch. Hit foul, 0-2. This is a guy who had Tommy John in the minors after he was drafted, a couple other small injuries along the way. Elbow inflammation that kept him under 100 innings in 2021. Stress fracture in his right shoulder blade in the spring of 2022 limited him that season. And then UCL damage in Tommy John again in 23. 0-2 pitch is high at 96. That Tommy John cost him much of 2023 and 2024. Made only 9 starts between those 2 seasons.
I think we have to keep in mind that Jacob deGrom is also 36 years old. He's not a spring chicken.
1-2. Hit hard, foul off to the right. Kirk stumbled over the plate, and it's out of play.
And he still has very good stuff. That last fastball was 97 miles an hour, and he's thrown a lot of pitches so far in this ball game.
deGrom fiddling around with the ball in his glove. Here's his 73rd pitch of the day. Outside and low with a fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I mean, it's not quite what he was averaging from 2020 to 2023 when he threw 99 on average. 2-2. Bounce the slider. 3 balls and 2 strikes now for Kirk. But in some ways, that was never sustainable. A lot of his best years came before that. Won back-to-back Cy Youngs in 18 and 19, throwing right around this, 96, 97. His payoff pitch. Lined over the mound and up the middle past the dive of Marcus Semien into center. That ball was tagged by Alejandro Kirk for a leadoff single. And the best thing for deGrom probably is that it was hit over him rather than at him.
Yeah, Alejandro Kirk continues to stay hot. He's seeing the baseball pretty well. A good at-bat. That was a 3-2 fastball. He just hammered that thing. Almost hit deGrom. Well, no, deGrom stuck his glove out a little bit, but a really good swing from Kirk for a leadoff base hit.
Kirk's on first. Anthony Santander's up with nobody out. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. By the way, on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Santander's former team, the Baltimore Orioles, have defeated the St. Louis Cardinals 5-2, the final score in that game. Big day for Dylan Carlson against his old club in St. Louis. The 1-0. Bounce to the plate through the changeup that time. 2 balls, no strikes. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Jonah Heim's going to walk out to the hill. The other teams in the AL East are both going later. Tampa Bay taking on Minnesota at 7:05 Eastern, and then the Yankees visiting a kind of hot Angels team in Anaheim at 9:38 Eastern. So in terms of the standings, we already have everything set in the AL East, at least for now. The standings won't change before the Jays game ends. So we can take a look at those Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds. Find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Still the Yankees atop the division, 32-20. The Rays 6 back, 26-26. Red Sox and Blue Jays are both 7 back. Boston 27-29. Toronto 25-27. And then the Orioles 13.5 back after the win. They're 19-34. Mound visit over, 2-0 count. Kirk on first. Santander at the plate. deGrom's pitch. Outside, ball 3. More action in the Texas bullpen. deGrom hasn't been bad today. He's been good, actually, for the most part, but he just hasn't been quite what you come to expect when you see him. 3-0. Fouled back. Santander had the green light. Hit a fastball on the outside edge, sent it behind the plate into the seats. 3-1.
Well, you expect Jacob deGrom to be perfect. I think that's the biggest thing. Even for us coming into this ball game, we expected him to be perfect. Like you said, hasn't been perfect, but he's still been pretty great.
Out to throw his 80th pitch of the day. DeGrom licks his fingers, wipes him on his right side. He's looking in at the plate from the first base side of the rubber. Now he brings his hands together. Kicks and deals. Outside, no. Called a strike on what should have been ball 4. Santander making his feelings known to Will Little. It's a full count.
That's a tough call. That's a ball all day long. About half a ball off that plate outside. That's a tough call for Santander.
So now a full count. Still nobody out. Still Kirk on first. The pitch. Popped up. Just back as second. Shortstop Smith calling off the center fielder Langford. Smith makes the catch in shallow center. And there's one out.
That's a big call in this ball game as well, because it should be first and second. Nobody out in this inning. Instead, it's Alejandro Kirk at first base and one out.
And I think that's the last out that Jacob deGrom is going to record in this game. Moseying on out to the mound is Bruce Bochy. The 4-time World Series champion manager makes a call to his bullpen. It's a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. DeGrom exits after 5 1/3. Blue Jays up 2-1 in the top of the 6th with a runner on first and one out. Let's go over to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks, Ben. Let's check out the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. And you know what? We don't do this super often, but let's start with the PWHL. The finals in full swing, and they could be over as soon as today. The finals are a best-of-5 series between Minnesota and Ottawa, and Minnesota, who are the defending Walter Cup champs, have a 2-1 series lead entering play today. So again, they could win a second straight title as soon as a couple of hours from now. Every game of the finals so far has gone to overtime, including Game 3, which went to triple overtime. Game 4 underway right now, 10 minutes to go in the first period, and it is zeros right now between Ottawa and Minnesota. On Saturday night in the NHL, we got Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final, and now that game was tied 1-1 heading into the third period, but the Panthers really turning it on in the third. A 5-goal barrage, all of those goals coming in a span of 9 minutes. The Panthers will go on to win 6-2. The Hurricanes are now 0-15 in their last 15 straight Eastern Conference Finals games, dating back a number of years. Panthers now have a 3-0 series lead. Game 4 will go later this evening in Sunrise. If or when the Panthers advance, they will become just the 9th NHL franchise to make at least 3 consecutive appearances in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 4 tonight will be on Sportsnet and the CBC. Puck drop just after 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And yesterday afternoon, we got Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals. The Oilers absolutely smashing the Stars, taking a 2-1 series lead. Zach Hyman with 2 goals and an assist. Connor McDavid would add 2 goals as well. A 6-1 final score from the Oilers. Game 4 will go in Edmonton tomorrow night, Tuesday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Blue Jays baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Former Oriole right-handed reliever Jacob Webb into the game. 22nd appearance. Webb kicks and offers to Addison Barger. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Webb enters with 1 out and Alejandro Kirk on first. The Blue Jays leading 2-1 in the top of the 6th. Right-hander's got an ERA around 5 right now. It's 0-1. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. Feature pitch for the righty Webb is a changeup. That's why you'll see Bruce Bochy deploy him at times against left-handed hitters like Barger. He can actually be more effective at times against lefties. 1-1. Fastball at 94 for a strike. 1-2. But he is no Tommy Kahnle. He's still throwing the fastball more than anything else. Pretty even split, 4-seam and change with a little bit of the sweeper mixing in as well. Barger 1 for 2 today. Shot a single to left field in the 4th. A 1-2. Fouled away. Jacob Webb's had a pretty nice career. This is the 4th major league team he's pitching on, and his 213th major league appearance, all relief appearances. The 1-2. Swing and a hard line drive right field. Backing up, Garcia gets turned around. It's over his head, bouncing into the wall. Kirk around second, headed for third. Barger into second with a double, and the Blue Jays have 2 in scoring position with 1 out.
Well, that ball just kept going and going. I think Adolis Garcia misplayed that ball out in right field, thought it had a little bit of top spin on it, but it was one of those rising hits that Addison Barger is so good at. And it just went over Adolis Garcia's outstretched glove for a big double. Alejandro Kirk ends up at third base.
Outfielders talk about drop steps a lot. Which foot are you putting back first? Garcia put his left foot back and turned almost toward the foul pole. That ball actually ended up being on the other side of him. First pitch to Ernie Clement now called a strike 0-1. Not to take away, though, from Barger, who hammered that ball out to right field. 2 potentially big runs in scoring position for the Blue Jays. They lead 2-1, 1 out, top of the 6th. A breath from Webb, and the 0-1 pitch. Bounce the changeup, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And the Texas Rangers have brought that infield in. Again, that tells you just how important that run is out at third base. They want to cut that off and keep this a 2-1 ball game.
No one's on the infield grass, but everyone is in enough. 1-1. Hit high in the air, out to right field. Garcia near the line. Kirk tagging. Garcia makes the catch. Kirk is going to deke and go back to third base. And Adolis Garcia's got one of the best arms in baseball, so it was a good decision not to send him as he fired it into the plate. 1 out.
Well, I think that, a lot of the times you don't send Alejandro Kirk on that fly ball there, but I don't think you really send anybody there. Adolis Garcia made a perfect throw from right field, probably would have gotten most runners.
Well, he threw it on the fly, on the money, right to home plate. Heim barely would have had to move the glove to tag. Michael Stefanik's up now with 2 outs, still second and third. The pitch. Swinging a ground ball hit right at the shortstop. Smith comes up with it, throws to first, and ends the inning. No runs for the Blue Jays on a pair of hits. They leave 2 in scoring position and still cling to that narrow 2-1 lead at the middle of the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As a sports fan, I just want the games. Right now, it's practically a full-time job to figure out which bundle I need. But with the SiriusXM app, it's done the bundling for me.
It is gone, a grand slam!
I don't have to go anywhere else to get every MLB, NFL, NBA, and NHL game. When there's a college game on, I just search for the school on the SiriusXM app.
Holy smokes, what a play!
With the all-access plan to the SiriusXM app, I've got the sports world in the palm of my hand.
To the end zone, touchdown!
No bundle required.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio examines the duality of Johnny Miller's Hall of Fame career. As a player, he was one of the few to challenge Jack Nicklaus in the 70s.
Maybe the greatest iron player ever.
And as an unfiltered and fearless broadcaster.
If Ben Hogan saw that, he'd puke.
Legends of the Game.
Legends of the Game.
Johnny Miller debuts May 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Listen on Channel 92 in the car and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays still on top 2-1. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. Kevin Gausman has been great today. He has averaged 12 pitches per inning, allowing only 4 hits, 1 run, and not walking any so far. He does face the heart of the Texas order, though, starting with the number 2 hitter in the lineup. It'll be Josh Smith, the lefty swinger. Gausman kicks and deals. Fastball poured over at 91, strike 1. Smith, 27 years old, 5'9", 172 pounds, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 0-1. Called a strike at 94. One hit the knees, 0-2.
From Baton Rouge and went to LSU. How about that?
Kevin Gausman, a former LSU Tiger himself, although not from the area locally like Smith. Smith was a second rounder by the Yankees in 2019. 0-2. Splitter, lofted out to center field, got under it enough for Varsha to run into it toward right center. He makes the catch, and there's one out.
64 pitches now in the ball game. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning with one out. That's really, really impressive.
And this is coming off a start where Gausman went 7 innings. He threw those 7 innings on 92 pitches, so he's been really efficient back-to-back now. Wyatt Langford is up. He responsible for the 1 run today for the Rangers. First pitch slider, strike 1.
This is Kevin Gausman's 4th start in a row without walking anybody. I know we're not done yet, but he's just been filling up that strike zone.
Righty's 0-1. Fastball at 96 hits the outside third. 0-2.
His fastball early on in this inning was 91, and now it's 96. He's so good at doing that.
He will mix up his velocity on the heater almost as much as anyone. 0-2 split, bounces on the plate, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Which almost makes it like a different pitch. It's just essentially a fast changeup at that point at 91, and then you slip that 96 by him and catches them off guard a little bit.
1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him through the splitter to the knees. And that's the 4th strikeout for Gausman. 2 outs, bases empty.
And when you're throwing a ton of strikes with that fastball, it makes that split finger that much better. You throw the split finger right down the middle like he does there. It looks very, very hittable. Looks like a fastball. And then just dives below that strike zone. Another great split from Kevin Gausman.
2 outs, bases empty. Josh Young at the plate. The pitch. Fouled back. Mentioned earlier, Young's out of Texas Tech. He's from San Antonio. Went to Texas Tech in Lubbock and now plays in Arlington with the Rangers.
Are you trying to one-up me, Ben?
I'm always trying to. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Was kind of cool, though. Young played at Texas Tech. Josh, that is, from 2017 to 2019, gets drafted. And then his younger brother, Jace, comes in 2020. Plays until 2022 when the Tigers end up selecting him very high. 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2.
I've never played at Texas Tech, but I can tell you this much. There's no greater place to play than Baton Rouge against LSU. It is an incredible place to play baseball.
Just atmosphere?
Oh, everything. All of the above. Those people are extremely passionate Tigers fans.
Former LSU Tiger Kevin Gausman kicks and deals. And it's just low. Tough take by Young. Or no, they rung him up. Strike 3. The pitch looked a little low, but Gausman gets the benefit of a call, and Young still talking about it to Will Little. Gausman will take it a 1-2-3 frame, capped off by a strikeout looking. We go to the 7th. It's the Blue Jays 2, the Rangers 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware. the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That ball is gone. Third home run in 4 batters for the Blue Jays.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Pitching change to start the 7th inning, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Sidearming lefty Hobie Milner, 2-1 Blue Jays. And Nathan Lucas set to lead off for Toronto, but he is lifted. Miles Straw hitting in his place to avoid the left-on-left matchup. Milner kicks and offers. This is outside, ball 1. In a second, we'll take a look at the Bet365 standings. A couple finals already today from AL East teams. 1-0. Fouled off 1-1. Standings brought to you by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. One to Straw. Grounded to the left side softly. Picked up by the third baseman Young. Turns, throws over to first just in time. 1 out. On those standings, the Yankees leading the division 32-20. Tampa Bay in second, 26-26. 6 back. Red Sox and Blue Jays both 7 back. Red Sox are 27-29. Blue Jays 25-27. And then the Orioles 13.5 back at 19-34. For the Rangers right now, they're 3rd in the American League West. Also 2 games under 500 like the Blue Jays. 4 back of the division-leading Seattle Mariners. 1 out. Pitch to Bo Bichette. Misses inside. Ball 1. Left-hander Hobie Milner. Side armor delivers a 1-0, and it's fouled off. That's the sinking fastball, rather the four-seamer at 88. About as hard as he'll throw in this outing. It's fouled away to make it 1-1.
But he's pretty funky. He's not a true submarine guy, but he is a low 3/4. Pretty awkward to pick up.
Close setup. His 1-1 is popped up middle of the infield. Coming in, Jake Berger, the first baseman, makes the catch on the infield grass. 2 outs.
I'm kind of old school where I think that every bullpen needs a guy like Milner, the soft tossing lefty, really throws off hitters and changes everything up, especially nowadays when everybody's throwing mid-90s to 100.
And Milner's been good. 21 appearances, 3.32 ERA, and just about 22 innings. Doesn't strike out many, but doesn't walk many. First year for him in Texas after 4 seasons in a row with the Milwaukee Brewers. 2 outs, 2-1 Blue Jays. First pitch to Vlad, called a strike. 0-1. We're in the 7th, which is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. The 0-1. Hit on the ground is short. Right at Smith. Picks it up, transfers to the right hand, and tosses to first to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Hobie Milner. 2-1 Blue Jays at the 7th inning stretch. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face. Come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet, Hockey Central gets you ready. Then, it was a Dallas demolition in Game 3. Now, Edmonton is 2 wins away from returning to the Stanley Cup Final. Can Dallas even the series?
You want to take away their will and take away their belief each and every shift.
It's a massive Game 4 at Rogers Place. Stars, Oilers, the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Watch on Sportsnet. Stream on Sportsnet Plus.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
Hey, this is Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Blue Jays up 2-1 thanks to early runs on the Texas Rangers. Kevin Gausman back out on the hill, and why wouldn't he be? He's only thrown 71 pitches so far today, and for the most part, dominated this Rangers lineup.
71 pitches, 52 of those strikes. We've seen him over the last 3 games, though, not walk anybody. So we know that he's been filling up that strike zone, at least recently over the last 3 games. But he's been really, really impressive today, especially that split finger. Down in the strike zone, then below that strike zone. Just so good. Vintage Kevin Gausman.
As Gausman finishes his warm-ups, we can let you know that this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and description for this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Defensive change for the Blue Jays. They brought in Miles Straw to hit for Nathan Lucas, and now Straw will stay in defensively for Lucas as well. He's the new left fielder. Gausman finishing his warm-up pitches, catches the ball in his red glove, walks to the back of the hill. He'll face Jake Berger, Jonah Heim, and Alejandro Osuna this inning. As Bruce Bochy goes into his bench, he's got a couple of catchers, and Tucker Barnhart, Kyle Higashioka available to him today. Blaine Krim called up today after the Rangers realized that Corey Seager would not be available to come off the injured list. Also the utility man, Ezekiel Duran, on the bench for Texas. Big Jake Berger batting right to start the inning. Gausman offers. And it's off the end of the bat. A tapper up the first baseline, picked up by Gausman. He tags Berger on the way past him. There's one out.
Well, Kevin Gausman did a good job fielding that baseball and then tagging Jake Berger with that ball in his bare hand in the glove. You see a lot of pitchers, a lot of position players as well, try to swipe tag without holding that baseball in that glove. The ball gets knocked out and the runner ends up being safe. That was a nice, smart play from Kevin Gausman there.
And another efficient out. Now he's through 6 in the third, 72 pitches. Pitch here to Jonah Heim. 93 in there, strike one. And the Rangers are going down quickly a lot of the time, but you can't really blame them. All the pitches have been in the zone, so what are you going to do? You have to swing at them. 0-1. Splitter misses the zone right after I say that. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, nowhere near the zone either. But a lot of the times when pitchers are too in the zone, they become hittable. But Kevin Gausman has not only been throwing strikes in the strike zone, he's been throwing good strikes down in the zone, hitting those corners.
The 1-1. Lifted very high to shallow right field. Stefanik backpedaling. He gave his way to the right fielder, Santander, screaming loud. He catches it with one hand. Santander tosses it back into the infield. There's 2 outs.
And just like that, another out, another quick out. You want me to tell the pitch count?
Go ahead.
75 pitches now for Kevin Gausman, just to keep everybody updated.
We'll quickly go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard as this inning is dissolving in record time. White Sox leading the Mets right now 1-0. Bottom of the 6th in Queens. White Sox just beat the Rangers in a series. They're looking pretty good right now in New York as well, as Alejandro Osuna takes a strike. It's 0-1. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Other AL East games later. Rays host the Twins at 7:05 Eastern. Angels host the Yankees 9:38 Eastern in Anaheim. Right on left, here's the 0-1 to Osuna. Lined left field, base hit. Fastball down the middle, and maybe a little fortunate there for Kevin Gausman that it's just turned around for a single rather than something more.
Well, that's a great approach from Osuna. Really good hit. That fastball was away, almost off the plate, and he just hammers that thing to left field for his second career base hit.
Got singles in each of his last 2 plate appearances. Single to center in the 5th, now one to left in the 7th. 2 outs. He's the tying run. Adolis Garcia's up. The pitch. Fouled back. Gausman reached back for a little extra there through 96 inside. 0-1. Rangers have left 3 aboard so far today. Garcia will ask for time before the next pitch. Their 1 run came on the solo homer in the 4th. They had a single in the 3rd by Garcia. He was left on first. And then 2 singles in the 5th. Heim and Osuna both were left on base to end that inning. 2 outs, the 0-1 offering. Swing and a miss. 96 could not have hit the glove more center as they wanted to go on the upper and outer part of the zone, and that was pinpoint. Nothing in 2.
I stay right there. Maybe go a little bit higher above the strike zone, especially in an 0-2 count. You don't want to throw anything that's hittable.
Gausman's 80th pitch. In the dirt. Good take there by Garcia on his splitter that bounced just beyond home plate. 1-2.
Good block from Alejandro Kirk, too. Hasn't really had to do much back there today, but keeping that runner at first base is a big deal.
There is action in the Blue Jays pen for the first time today. Brendan Little is getting loose. Gausman's 1-2. Osuna takes off. Pitch cut on and missed. Strike 3. Kevin Gausman strikes out Adolis Garcia to end the bottom of the 7th. 6 Ks, 1 run allowed in 7 innings so far. The Blue Jays holding on to a 2-1 lead after 7. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The UEFA Champions League final is on Sirius XM. Munich is the stage for club soccer's most prestigious event, featuring Parisian elegance.
Goal! 2-1! It's raining goals in Paris!
Versus Italian resilience.
It's in! Inter back from the brink.
It's Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan in the UEFA Champions League final, Saturday at 3 Eastern on Sirius XM FC, 157 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
Get a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app. Blue Jays fans, your manager, John Schneider, joins MLB Network Radio every other Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Our bats have been really kind of the way we envisioned them. Jimenez has kind of picked up where he left off in spring, as has Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and George Springer is making progress and kind of quieting some people down on the outside with the start he got off to.
Managers at the mic on MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM 89 and the Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the #1 place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
That Radio Network.
Dalton Varsho leading off the top of the 8th inning, squares to bunt and drags it on the first pitch toward first. Berger underhand flip, and it's not in time. Semien covering the bag, got there, but the flip was late. helmet over his eyes from sprinting so hard. It's a first pitch bunt single for Varsho in the 8th.
Well, we haven't seen him do that this season. At least I don't think we have. But he is so good at that. Just sneaks that ball down past the pitcher and then just busts it down that line for a single. What a bunt. He is so good at that. Probably one of the best in the league.
And because of that, no left on lefts for Hobie Milner, who now faces Alejandro Kirk, a right-handed batter. Varsho on first. It's the 3rd time the Blue Jays center fielder has reached today. And the first pitch outside to Kirk, ball 1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 2-1 Blue Jays, top of the 8th inning. 1-0. Called strike. Kirk's had a pretty productive day. After he flied out to center in the 1st, he hit a sac fly in the 4th. That's still the difference in this game, and came up with a single in the 6th, but was left on third base. 1-1. Just inside, 2-1.
As we've seen so often this season, the defensive alignment against Alejandro Kirk leaves a big hole on the right side of the infield. Marcus Semien playing towards second base, and then Jake Berger is holding on Dalton Varsho at first. Let's see if he shoots that hole.
2-1. Called a strike. Might have been a hair outside, 2-2. I went to look a couple days ago. Never got to put it into the broadcast because we see this all the time. Where were Kirk's hits? And at least as of 2 days ago, Kirk had more hits to right than he did to left. And yet, they continue. I don't know what data is being fed in there that tells you should give him the whole right side of the infield. 2-2. Up and in, ball 3.
I have no idea, Ben, but you and I are both very passionate about that defensive alignment.
So passionate. I mean, it's good for Kirk and the Blue Jays. I'm sure they're telling teams keep doing it. At a minimum, with 2 strikes, you got to move a little bit into that hole. 3-2. Down and in, ball 4. Kirk drops the bat. He takes a walk, and the Blue Jays have 2 on to start this top of the 8th.
Well, that's as good as a sac bunt there. A very good at-bat. A tough pitch on the inside part of the plate for ball 4. Now the Blue Jays have runners at first and second with nobody out in this inning.
Mike Maddox out to the mound. Quickly look at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Mentioned 1-0 for the White Sox over the Mets. It's Adrian Hauser, the longtime Brewer and brief Met, that's starting today for the White Sox, his 2nd start of the year. He's thrown 6 shutout innings, only 2 hits and no walks against that tough Mets offense. Cincinnati is leading Kansas City right now 6-0. It was a tough day for Michael Lorenzen, the former Red and current Royal. Not a tough day for Nick Martinez, the right-hander who has 6 shutout innings of his own. 2-1 for the Blue Jays. Top of the 8th inning. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Anthony Santander turns around to hit right for the first time today. First pitch inside, ball 1. First and second for Toronto. Kirk on first, Varsho on second. Nobody out. Milner sets just above the belt. Lefty side armor, deals home. And it's 88 on the inner half for strike 1.
Even though it was 88, you can still see that Anthony Santander was a little bit uncomfortable. Just dotted that fastball inside.
Milner's 1-1. Fouled off of the front ankle by Santander. It's 1-2.
And now with 2 strikes, you have to shorten up that swing and really try to move those runners to second and third. Those are big runs out there, especially in a 2-1 ball game.
Addison Barger waiting on deck. Milner has thrown 18 pitches across his 2 innings so far. 1-2. Swinging a line drive, right field, caught on the run by Garcia. Throw goes into third base. Both runners hold. Well struck, but to the wrong spot for Santander, and there's 1 out.
That's tough luck for Anthony Santander. Really hit that ball well to right field. Just hit it too hard almost to Adolis Garcia. Adolis Garcia with the easy catch.
A big out for Hobie Milner before he faces Addison Barger. Still first and second, but now 1 out, and the 2-for-3 Barger hits from the left side. The pitch. Called a strike. If the last name Milner sounds familiar, it's because Hobie is the son of Brian Milner, a seventh rounder by the Blue Jays in 1978, who made headlines when he was brought directly to the big leagues at 18 years old that year. 0-1. Called a strike, 0-2. At 18 years, 7 months, and 6 days, he's the youngest Blue Jay in franchise history. Went 4 for 9 in 2 games as an 18-year-old. Went back down, got hurt a lot in the minors, never made it to the big leagues again. 0-2, fastball on the corner, called strike 3. Throws Barger with a perfect pitch, 2 down.
What a big pitch in this ball game. 2-1 ball game. You need that strikeout, and he gets it on a tough pitch right on the corner outside.
First strikeout for Milner of the 5 outs he's recorded. Blue Jays put the first 2 on, and now they're in danger of stranding him. First and second, 2 outs. The pitch to Ernie Clement is hit sharply on the ground to short. Picked up by Smith, underhand flip to second base to end the inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, 2 left for the Blue Jays. Middle of the 8th still 2-1 for Toronto. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. A solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For our participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
Breaking news. Spring fashion is heating up at TSC.ca with a wave of top brands and new styles. I'm here with one happy shopper. What did you score?
Oh, where do I start? New designer heels from Ron White, a cute Hillary McMillan jacket, a stunning Avera diamond bracelet, everything I need for spring.
And what's the damage report on your wallet?
Oh, I split all my purchases into interest-free Easy Pay payments. No damage to report here.
Shop now, pay over time. I love it. Discover the latest spring fashion at TSC.ca. Exciting offers every day.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Middle lane fastball, but he puts it by Cruz. 2 down.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 8th inning, the Blue Jays leading the Rangers. 2-1 is the score right now. Toronto in Arlington, and Kevin Gausman on the hill for an 8th inning of work. The right-hander only on 81 pitches. We saw action from the Blue Jay pen last inning, but John Schneider is sticking with his horse right now.
I mean, he's looked good. If I was John Schneider, I would probably do the same thing. I'm assuming that he had a conversation with Gausman in between innings. Gausman wanted to come back out.
The pitch to Marcus Semien. Hit high and foul off to the right, 0-1. It's 9-1-2 this inning for the Rangers. Semien, Haggerty, Smith. Kevin Gausman looking to record an out in the 8th for the first time this year. The 0-1. High, 1 ball, 1 strike. It's not like this is unfamiliar territory to Gausman by any means. Completed 8 3 times last year. Twice he went the full 9. The 1-1. Low, 2 balls, 1 strike. Semien 0 for 2 today. Fly out and line out, both to right field. 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Kevin Gausman has thrown 100 pitches 1 time this season. He threw 101 against the Tampa Bay Rays on May 15th. So there you go.
He's not even close yet, though. Only 85. It's 2-2. Bounce just in front of the plate. No, it spins back foul, third base side.
Well, I'm sure John Schneider and Pete Walker are in that dugout, probably taking it batter by batter. If you get a guy on first base, then it becomes high leverage. You get a lefty-on-lefty matchup. You might want to bring in Brendan Little. There's a lot of things to think about, at least late in this ballgame now.
Two again. And again fouled off. By the way, coming up later on Sportsnet and on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final in the NHL. The Panthers up 3-0, looking to close it out at home on the Hurricanes. Out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Here's the 2-2. Simeon grounds it foul once more. He threw his head back. Feels like maybe he should have gotten more out of that splitter that was down and in.
A little bit of a hanger. Didn't have a lot of bite to it. Maybe Kevin Gausman is becoming fatigued just a little bit.
Right-hander kicks and fires. Swinging a fly ball hit very high left center field. Varsho waving off Straw. Walks into it and makes the catch. 1 out.
That's a good pitch. 94 miles an hour in on the hands of Marcus Semien for out number 1.
Top of the order, up again for the Rangers. John Schneider and Pete Walker staying put in the Blue Jay dugout. Gausman will get Sam Haggerty here. It is notable that the top 2 in the Ranger lineup is a combined 0 for 6 against Gausman today. Switch hitter Haggerty batting left. Gausman's pitch home. Hit on the ground towards third. Leaping stop Barger. Lance throws to first. Nice play. 2 down.
Addison Barger has been really good over there, showing a lot of athleticism, jumping for that baseball, catching it, and making a perfect throw across the diamond to Ernie Clement for out number 2.
Barger, who was focusing a lot more on the outfield earlier on this year than the infield, has ended up in the infield a ton with Andres Jimenez being out, Ernie Clement sliding over to more full-time second base. It's worked out. Pitch to Josh Smith, 94 at the knees, strike 1. How many times have we seen that pitch from Gausman today? Just a great fastball, well-located bottom of the zone.
Best pitch in baseball, fastball down and away for strike 1.
2 out, space is empty. The 0-1 offering from Gausman. Just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike as the splitter ducked below the zone. Josh Smith 0 for 3 today. 2 ground balls to first, also lined out to center. A 1-1. 94 outside corner, bottom of the zone, called strike 1 and 2.
I mean, if that's located really well, as it has been all game for Kevin Gausman, it's almost unhittable. Like I said, that probably is the best pitch in baseball, a fastball down and away.
Righty's 1-2. Fastball up, fouled back. Trying to finish the 8th. He pulled back for 97, but Smith got a piece.
So his fastball has been 90 to 97 today. That's about right.
Yeah. One of the best days we've seen this year from Gausman, coming off one of his best starts of the year against San Diego. 1-2 pitch. Fouled away to the left. Smith is going to make Gausman wait a little longer as he tries to finish off this 8th inning.
It does seem like he has found something. At least over the last couple of starts, he's found the strike zone, throwing better strikes. Today has been really impressive.
The fastball has really felt like the marquee pitch today, but he has been playing around with the splitter grip as well. One-two. Fastball hit on the ground to first. Picked up on the backhand side by Clement, who goes to the bag to end the inning. 8 innings, a 1-run ball from Kevin Gausman. He's guided the Blue Jays to the 9th, where they lead 2-1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Embrace the power.
Start your engine.
And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sirius XM.
Battle the start-finish line. Alexander Rossi goes to P1.
Hear every thrilling moment in the season-long championship chase.
Alex Palou, mirrors full of Apollo Award. And then
It's the machine of willpower in that third position.
The season rolls on Sunday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern on the streets of Detroit.
Alex Pillow, bring him home.
Live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218 and the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
While you're listening to this game on Sirius XM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
A Sportsnet Radio Network.
The ninth inning is brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites, only at Pizza Pizza. Actually Canadian. Blue Jays 2, Rangers 1. Kevin Gausman has been sensational today, but can they get a little bit of breathing room? That's what they'll try to do now against a new pitcher in Cole Winn that misses low to Michael Stefanik. Ball 1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Cole Winn still very young in his season, just his third appearance. He misses low again, 2-0. Thrown 3 1/3 scoreless so far after having an ERA close to 8 in 17 1/3 last year. Righty with a breath in the 2-0. Missed up high, although that might have been a strike. I don't think his catcher Heim did him any favors with the receive there. It's 3-0.
Well, you can almost guarantee that Stefanik is taking here 3-0 and nobody out in this inning.
Winn kicks, fires. This is outside, ball 4. Pitching change to Cole Winn, brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Winn's a sinker slider guy for the most part. Mid-90s sinker, mid-80s slider. He'll mix in a cutter and a four-seamer as well, and every once in a while a curve and a splitter. Miles Straw is up to the plate. Third baseman Young playing in with the runner on first. The pitch. Straw squares, pulls it back. That pitch came at his head and he ducked out of the way. Ball 1.
I almost think that you should fake a sacrifice here because Winn really hasn't shown command of that strike zone yet. You fake a sack and you pull back.
Just wait for a strike.
Right. You just force him to throw that fastball in the strike zone.
1-0. Straw squares and bunts it toward first base. Picked up Winn. Underhand flip to Semi, and the second baseman covering first. So Straw is retired. It's a good sacrifice. Up to second goes Stefanik with 1 out.
I don't mind that. You get a pitch that you can bunt. Obviously, Miles Straw, really good sack bunting. He's done it a fair amount in his career. Makes a good sack bunt there, and Stefanik ends up at second base.
Blue Jays setting up Bo Bichette or maybe Vlad Guerrero Jr. with a chance to drive him in now. Bichette gets the first try. He's 0 for 3 today with a walk. The pitch. Called a strike. Win a 15th rounder in 2018 by Texas out of the same high school Garrett Cole went to, Orange Lutheran High School in Orange, California. A look at second by Winn, the 0-1. Hooked on the ground toward third base. Young backhands, throws on the run to first. It's dug out on the backhand side by Berger. Good pick. Stefanik had to wait at second. There are 2 down.
That was a great play from Berger at first base. Wasn't a great throw. It was kind of that in-between hop that's so tough for first baseman to pick up. But Jake Berger does a nice job for out number 2.
2-1 for the Blue Jays. 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. up to the plate. 1 for 4 today with a single and a run scored. Stefanik on second. Win offers. Vlad rips a liner up the middle into center field. A base hit. Stefanik coming around third gets a stop sign last second as the throw comes back in. Vlad hit that ball so hard, and Langford made such a good play on it that the ball was back into the infield in a flash. So the Blue Jays don't score, but it's runners on the corners. 2 outs.
My goodness, I haven't seen the exit velo on that, but that might be his hardest hit of the season.
111.
So not his hardest, but he squared that baseball up so hard that Stefanik couldn't score.
But Vlad's the kind of guy where that will be many guys' hardest hit of the season, and it's about 10 miles per hour slower than that ball he hit to third base. I want to say against Tampa in the series in Toronto. He hit 120 or 121. First and third, 2 outs, 2-1 Blue Jays, top of the 9th. The pitch to Dalton Varsho. Down and in, bounced near his back foot, run-saving pick by Jonah Heim. Ball 1. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, Wyatt Langford, Josh Young, and Jake Berger will hit for the Rangers. Pretty much the pocket of the lineup you want up if you're Bruce Bochy or the Rangers in general. So the Blue Jays would love to get a little bit of a buffer. 1-0. Swing and a fly ball, left center field. Moving back Osuna. Near the warning track, he makes the catch. And that will do it for the top of the 9th inning. The Blue Jays get 2 base runners, including a hit, but leave them on the corners. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Blue Jays 2, Rangers 1. Jeff Hoffman in the game next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rush Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Hey, this is Chad Green. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Adley here with you as the Blue Jays lead the Rangers 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning at Globe Life Field in Arlington. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk tonight. Blair and Barker have the postgame show. They're here at Baseball Control. They'll take your calls and texts. Jeff will throw out the numbers to call after the final out. You can text them as well, 590-590, name and location. That's the People's Text line. It is always open. Standard data and messaging rates may apply. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Again, the Jays are leading the Rangers 2-1 as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning at Globe Life Field. Jeff Hoffman on to try and close things out with the call. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Blue Jays 2, Rangers 1. Wyatt Langford will lead off for Texas. He homered in the 4th inning, the one Rangers run today. Hoffman's first pitch is a front door slider that drops into the inside corner. Strike 1. Fastball, splitter, slider for Hoffman, who through some of his recent struggles has not lost stuff. It's probably been more command. The 0-1 is a slider that just misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, not only has it been command, I think it's been a little bit of sequencing as well, staying away from the fastball, which really is his best pitch.
Righties 1-1. Fastball cut on and missed. 96 elevated, 1-2.
That's the one right there. I stay right there. I go a little bit higher up in that strike zone. See if you can get a strikeout or a pop-up here.
Hoffman with a 6.04 ERA in 22 1/3 innings pitched this year. He had a 135 in April, but it has been a tough May. 1-2. Fastball lifted out to center. Dalton Varsho camped under it, shuffles a little to his left and makes the catch. And there's one out.
That's a great pitch. 97 on the black on the inside part of the plate. Really tough to hit. I feel like in his last 4 or 5 outings, he probably would have thrown a slider there, maybe a split finger. I'm glad that he's learning his lesson.
The splitter, it seems like specifically, has been a pitch that's been hurt, which is a little bit odd because it might have been his best swing and miss pitch last season. Pitch now to Young is a fastball cut on and miss, strike one. But you look at it, he's been all fastball sliders so far here in this inning. His splitter this year has allowed a 294 average and a 529 OPS, so maybe just backing off that a little bit. Going with his best stuff so far this year. His 0-1 slider, swing and a miss. That pitch was a ball out of the hand, but Young chased 0-2.
And that's the thing. When you show the fastball that you can throw the fastball for strikes, when you mix that fastball on the inside part of the plate, hitters have to respect that slider. They have to respect the outer third of that plate, and that's really what happened right there.
Young hitter and Josh Young asks for time and steps back in. 27-year-old looks out at Jeff Hoffman, who's set at the belt. 1 out, base is empty. And the 0-2. Elevated fastball. Young lays off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Love that pitch. An 0-2 elevated heater at 97. Just seeing if you can get a swing and miss, a pop-up. Can't do any damage with that pitch.
1-2. Inside with the splitter. I believe that's the first splitter we saw. Didn't totally get on top of it. It almost hit Young. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Young's 0 for 3. Fly out to right. 2 strikeouts today. 2-2. Swing and a fly ball left center field. Going back, Straw. He's calling off Varsho in deep left center, and he makes the catch. 5-10 feet in front of the track. There's 2 down.
I know that's probably not where he intended to throw that split finger, but I've always said you don't want to throw your off-speed pitch out of the strike zone and then throw that same off-speed pitch in the strike zone. That was a dangerous pitch there. It was a little floating split finger that was almost hit really well.
The deep confines, 4-10 out at one point in left center field. Maybe helpful to the Blue Jays on that one. But 2 outs now. Toronto 1 out away. The pitch to Jake Berger. Slider just a little bit high. Ball 1. Blue Jays leading 2-1. All 3 runs in this game were scored in the 4th inning or earlier on a day where both starters were very good. 1-0. Slider tap foul back behind the plate, 1-1. And Jacob deGrom was good. Kevin Gausman was sensational. 8 innings today of 1-run ball.
It's kind of what we expected. Maybe not so much from Kevin Gausman, but it's kind of the ball game that we expected.
The 1-1. Check swing. Did it hit him in the hand or the bat? Berger is reacting like it hit him in the bat, so that'll be a foul ball on a pitch that nearly hit him. Hoffman gets ahead 1-2. Again, though, struggling for command of that splitter.
Alejandro Kirk did a good job pointing at Jake Berger. As soon as that ball hit the bat, he knew right away that was a foul ball and not a hit by pitch.
One ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th with the Blue Jays leading 2-1. Hoffman kicks and deals. Slider hit high in the air to center field. Varsho racing toward right center. Has got it, and the Blue Jays win the game. 2-1, the final score as the Blue Jays outlast the Rangers in a pitcher's duel.
Well, Kevin Gausman was really, really good today. He knew going against Jacob deGrom that he had to be almost perfect. And he was. He was really, really good. Outside of that pitch, that fastball to Wyatt Langford, he was as close to perfect as you can get. And then Dalton Varsho with a double and a big home run early in this ballgame.
Blue Jays snap the 3-game losing skid, win 2-1. We'll take a quick step aside and get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker in just a moment. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, Come and meet Ace and run base to base on Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Called strike three, change up at the knees, and there's nothing you can do about that pitch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Blue Jays defeat the Texas Rangers today, 2-1. The final score on the Memorial Day Monday matinee in Arlington, Texas. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks so much for tuning into this one. We'll get you over to Blue Jays Talk in a sec, and we'll hear from Chris in a sec, but why not just get right to today's player of the game? The Blue Jays figured today was going to be a tough day to score runs. Jacob deGrom on the hill for the Texas Rangers, but Toronto countered with an ace of its own in Kevin Gausman, and he delivered with some huge moments throughout the game. 1-2. Fastball hit on the ground to first. Picked up on the backhand side by Clement, who goes to the bag to end the inning. 8 innings, a 1-run ball from Kevin Gausman. He's guided the Blue Jays to the 9th, where they lead 2-1.
Well, like I said, after the ball game, Kevin Gausman knew coming into this ball game against Jacob deGrom, he had to be as close to perfect as he could be, and he really was. Even that home run to Wyatt Langford was a pretty good pitch. It was a fastball on the black inside. It almost looked like Langford was guessing fastball, and he got to it, barreled that ball up. But other than that, he was pretty close to perfect. Another ball game with 0 walks. That's 4 in a row. He's really been filling up that strike zone, locating that fastball really well, and that just makes the split finger that much better.
8 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 6 strikeouts for Kevin Gausman, his longest start in terms of innings pitched so far this year. And you want to talk about nasty. Jacob deGrom was good today. He's got great stuff. He got 3 swings and misses in his 5 1/3 innings. Kevin Gausman got 15 swings and misses today in 8 innings. They were waving at the fastball and the splitter all day, and every once in a while the slider too. But the Blue Jays couldn't score or couldn't win without scoring some runs either, Chris. And they scored right away. Not that it was a banner offensive day by any means, but Dalton Varsho, again a catalyst for the Blue Jays. Homer in the first, and his double helped set up the sac fly in the 4th inning. Would they like to see it a little more consistently? Maybe, but every time this guy hits the ball, it's going for extra bases.
Well, the interesting thing about those 2 hits, specifically the home run and that double off of Jacob deGrom, one was a hanging slider and one was a changeup just below the strike zone. And I questioned it when it happened. Why is Jacob deGrom throwing off-speed pitches to Dalton Varsho? Just throw that good fastball down and away. Not sure why he did it, but the Blue Jays will take it.
They certainly will. The Blue Jays win the game 2-1. The final score, snapping a 3-game losing streak. 2 runs on 8 hits for Toronto, no errors. They left 10 on base. The Rangers with 1 run on 5 hits, no errors. They left 4 on base. Kevin Gausman with the win is 5-4. Jacob deGrom picks up the loss. He's 4-2. Jeff Hoffman with a clean 1-2-3 9th has his 11th save of the year. This one took 2 hours and 18 minutes in front of 33,766. The Blue Jays win. They're 26-27. The Rangers are now 26-18. and 29. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:05 Eastern first pitch. Bowden Francis against Nathan Eovaldi. Hope you can tune in then. Appreciate you tuning in today. From our technical director, Austin Mackey, host and producer, Show Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your day and stick around. Get your calls and texts in. Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker starts right now.
With Blair and Barker, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. The numbers, star 590. I think I mentioned star 590. 590 is the text line. Gets your texts and calls in ASAP. The Jays getting a couple of runs. A home run from wake up, Jeff.
Dalton
Varsho. And a sacrifice fly from Alejandro Kirk. In and around that, they were 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. But it did not matter because for the fourth consecutive start, Kevin Gausman, no walks. 15 swings and misses at a variety of his pitches, Kevin. He was awfully good. Now, not a great... this is a team that's been scuffling to score runs, but Kevin Gausman was still awfully good. What was he at one point? 22 of 24 first pitch strikes. I think his first 12 or 14 pitches of the game were strikes. He was just really good.
Well, thank goodness you got me, because I'm going to give you the exact number. He was 14 for 14 throwing strikes to start the game.
That's what I said, didn't I?
He was 25. No, you said 12 to 14.
That's close.
Give the exact number. Throwing strike one, he was 25 for 29.
Don't you educate me.
Which is unbelievable. The velocity on his fastball was very consistent. It was 95 miles an hour. But for me, the biggest key was keeping the split finger from running. When it runs, it goes side to side. It's good hitting. When it looks like a heater, the change of speed and it dives straight down is when it's money. And that's exactly what's starting to take place, right? And when you can do that, you can throw 48 fastballs, 45 split fingers, and then you can sprinkle in 3 sliders just because you want to do that. So, he got ahead. The home run he gave up to Wyatt Langford, occasionally you got to tip your hat. That's one of those, the 1-1 heater. It was 93 miles an hour on the black. Give Wyatt credit. He's basically their best hitter at the time with no Seager in the lineup. When you make a decent pitch, occasionally the guy's just much better than you are that day. That's exactly what happened at bat. But give Kevin credit, man. He attacked the zone. He got ahead. Only one guy led off the inning getting on base. That was the home run from Wyatt Langford. Other than that, he would eliminate the leadoff hitter, throwing strike ones, being consistent with the velocity, making 2 pitches look exactly the same. Get some timely hitting. That's how you went on the road.
Yeah, a little bit of timely hitting.
Well, they got enough.
They did get enough.
Yeah, and barely. Jeff Hoffman coming in and going 3 up, 3 down. It's a big deal when you got an ERA of over 16 in May. So, you sort of eliminate what happened in Florida. You come to Texas. You face a team probably you should be beaten at this time of the year.
And you beat...
That's exactly what happened.
And you beat Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
Which is in and of itself, regardless of how bad Texas's offense is, and let's be clear, it's awful. But regardless of how bad their offense is, you beat Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, and you mentioned this with Dalton Varsho in the lineup. It's longer, right? It just he gives that left-handed slug to their lineup, which is much needed when Tony ain't doing his thing. And I've said this a bazillion times, and I'll continue to say it. When you can take a curveball that's a pitcher's pitch and force the guy, even with Jacob deGrom's sort of stature, allow him to throw a slider down the middle. Sliders down the middle go a lot further than a curveball away from that's a pitcher's pitch. So, yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? You sort of pass the baton with the quality at bat. You get the timely hit when you need to get them. They had traffic. They just didn't run into any. This is sort of how they consistently win baseball games.
2-1, the Blue Jays have beaten the Texas Rangers. Brad and Nipigon, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Hey. Yeah, Langford was a great draft pick, and deGrom was an even better signing. But Varsho, what a trade. He has consistently performed as a slugger, and I find it unfathomable that people think that Moreno was potentially better on the squad. No, Heineman obviously on the concussion list, but Kirk, what a beaut. Honestly, the Jays are underperforming based on their record, but there's so much talent in the squad, and Kevin Gausman is an exemplification of that because, every hitter knows what's coming. The splitter fastball combo. But if you can't beat it, try to join it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, but I wouldn't necessarily go trumpeting that trade as the best trade in Blue Jays history. I mean, they did give up 2 everyday players, and they basically haven't replaced one of them. They're still hunting for somebody to hit in the middle of the order. Like, I like Dalton Varsho as much as anybody, but do-over, you probably don't want to be giving away 2 everyday players. For Dalton Varsho.
Give Dalton credit. He's made adjustments when he's needed to make them.
Varsho's, and
he's a really good center fielder, which is what they need.
And he's giving them extra base.
He's left-handed. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, they don't have anybody else on the team who gives you that consistent pop.
With Vladdy not doing much with the slug department, with Tony basically doing nothing, you need a guy. Varsho's been the guy, so you got to give him credit. Again, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. This is probably the way they're going to win games. If they make the playoffs, this is probably how they're going to do it. Great starting pitching. You have the closer come in and do his thing. You get a timely hit on the road. Yep. That's how you win.
I do have to say, too, about Alejandro Kirk. I mean, there are times on the base paths where he does cost you. They had a couple of instances today. We talked about this. A couple of instances today. The score should have been 4-1. One of those plays might have been close at home plate. I shouldn't really say that. But they should have had at least one other run. They were 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. They could have had at least one other runner across there.
I think the Clement fly ball to right, that's probably nobody on the team, I would think, takes a chance on that. I think you're talking about scoring from the double to right field, from scoring from first. Kirky, again.
I know, but I'm just saying.
You're picking. I mean,
you're not picking. I'm saying just about everybody in baseball scores in that.
Maybe. I mean, Garcia's a pretty good right fielder. He's got a cannon for an arm. You got to get really good jumps. You got to, be a good base runner. Basically, you're grounding second until he catches the ball. That'll give you a chance to score from first. That's Kirky's. That's not his strength.
No, it's not.
It is what it is.
It's not. And you are right. They did win. They did win 2-1. We shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth by any stretch of the imagination. And really, at this point, you can't be picky.
Win's a win, buddy.
You've lost 3 in a row to Tampa Bay. You were embarrassed in the last loss to Tampa Bay, 13-0. You needed a win in the worst way, and you know what? You almost got it in the worst way. Russ in New Jersey, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Good morning, good afternoon, guys. Good. So, like you said, hard to watch sometimes, or good win. That lineup of Texas, and I remember in 23 they came into Toronto for a 4-game series at the end of the season, and they just blew the doors off the Blue Jays. They scored like 9, I think 6, or if I forget what they won one game, like 6-3 Texas. That was the least they scored. Now, how this offense has fallen, you look at Garcia and Simeon in the 8th and 9th. It's just, Garcia was, 100 RBIs, great hitter, and Simeon, and just that offense is bad. But I want to ask you a question, and I know maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself, but, is this team, and I've said all along, the American League East, and even the whole American League, you started the day two losses in the loss column behind a playoff team at 25. There, I think there were 2 teams tied. So, you think this team's going to be in it, but my issue is come the trade deadline. And if they're in it, you want to tell me a game this way, a game that way. And there's been a little bit of talk already about Bo Bichette. How can you convince me that Ross Atkins, who hasn't won a playoff game since 16, who is a guy that's probably, fighting for his job, how he still has one is anybody's guess. I don't know. But he's fighting for his job. Am I going to trust him to say, hey, Bo Bichette, we're going to trade you? Because I don't think, there's all these rumors. I don't think there's any chance they trade Bo Bichette, because as long as Ross Atkins is in charge, he's probably convinced he has to make the playoffs this year. But with Rodgers, you never know. So how am I convinced that he's going to make the right decision on Bo Bichette? Because they probably know by now if Bichette wants to stay or doesn't want, and pretty much you hear that he doesn't want to. So, is he going to trade him? I remember a couple of years ago, the Orioles were in the race, and they made a couple trades at the deadline. Even last year, Detroit knew they were a good team, and they basically made some trades, and then they got hot. But my question is, do you trust Ross Atkins with the Bo Bichette decision if they're on the teetering on the playoffs for a guy that really needs to save his job maybe by at least making the playoffs and probably winning a round. But that's maybe too much. So that's my real question. I know it's a little bit ahead of the game because trade deadline's not for a while, and this team is capable of going on a run if they get this kind of pitching. But that's my question to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, God, that's kind of the $1 million question. I will say this: Ross Atkins has made some decent trades in the past, but yeah, I sort of don't look at it that way. My sense is we're with Bo, we're kind of where we were with Vladdy. I think you'll let Bo test the market. You say, bring back your best offer, and we'll decide whether or not we match it. And if it's me, if it's a type of offer that I think Bo is going to get on the open market, and remember, every time somebody goes to the open market, they generally sign for more than you think they're going to sign. I have to think hard about doing it. I mean, I need a middle of the order bat in here. At some point in the next year, I need another middle of the order bat here.
Do you think Bo gets it? If you traded Bo, you think you get it?
No, because
then why trade him?
Well, that's my point. I'm saying right now you're trading a guy. You know what you're going to get for Bo. You're going to get a middle of the order guy who's also going to be a free agent. Nobody's going to give you anything for 4 months or 5 months of Bo Bichette.
Yeah,
I mean the time to trade Bo Bichette, if you wanted to put a real deal together, the time to trade him was this past winter or last off season.
Mm-hmm.
That was the time to do it. At this point now, if it's me. And I just ride with Bo. If somebody comes along and says to me, we pick a name. We're going to give you somebody with 3 years service time left for Bo Bichette. Yeah, but I can't imagine a team doing that because you're only getting Bo for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, who plays shortstop? Who hits leadoff? There's all those things.
Yeah, Jimenez plays shortstop.
Yeah, and who plays second? I mean, if down the stretch, do you really want a combination of Ernie play? Like that's a lot.
Yeah, but Kevin,
you'd rather have better.
Well, if you're the point, if you're going to. No, I'm saying if you get that middle of the order hitter who's going to be here for a couple of years, then you think about it. But you're not going to get the middle of the order hitter who's going to be here for a couple of years. But, you can trade, if you're going to trade Bo and you get that hitter, then you can add somebody else to play second base or shortstop. Bottom line is the only way I do it is if I'm getting that guy who can be my cleanup hitter or my fifth hitter.
Yeah.
Not just this year, but next year as well.
Ain't happening.
So, it's hard to imagine it. Would you? Would you trade for 4 months? Who would make that deal? Which team is going to make the deal? A rebuilding team's not trading for Bo because he's going to be a free agent.
Yep.
So who's going to make that deal? The Dodgers, you can move Mookie to the outfield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But again, what are they going to give you? Does Bo make the Dodgers a World Series team?
They
already are.
Yep.
So I really think that when it comes to Bo, the time to move him would have been last year. In terms of whether or not you trust Ross Atkins, I don't, but he is the general manager. And I will say this. At this stage where this front office is, it ain't going to be Ross Atkins' call alone if they trade Bo.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
It's just not.
Nope.
So I know that's a long-winded answer, but that's kind of where I am in it.
I think that's the right answer.
Clifton, what's up, Clifton?
Oh, my friends. Listen, man. You're talking about middle of the order bat. I want to talk about Mr. Tony Taters. Now, Jeff, I'm sure you guys remember a couple of years ago, you had the venerable Joe Madden on the station. And you were asking him about Vladdy's struggle at the time and what he would have done with Vladdy if, he was the manager. And he told you guys that he would move Vladdy up and down the lineup. He would have Vladdy in the leadoff spot. And I'm wondering if that isn't something that they should try with Santander. Because it seems like every time this guy comes up to the plate with runners on, it's like, he's whipped before he, even swing the bat. And I'm thinking, man, this is one way of kind of taking some of the pressure off him. And I know Barker is very good at these, seeing these things. So I also want to ask Barker.
Mm-hmm.
I see Vladdy, it appears, that Vladdy's seeing the ball very well right now, and I think he's about ready to take off. What do you think?
Thanks, Clifton.
Yeah, look, I hope so. I mean, I think if you're a Jays fan, you hope so too. Me and Jeff have had this conversation many times, and I've often asked Jeff the question, and he never has the answer for me. But just because I don't think anybody's got the answer of why the slow starts. Why does Vladdy look occasionally like he's late? Why does he look like slug to the pull side against velocity is very hard to come by, at least early in the season. And you saw the fastball, the ball that he hit to center field today. I think that's an example of it right there. That almost is a ball that if he's on time, he's backspinning that thing to right center, and it's a homer. That, for me, I think is he's still a tick late. But I'm with you a little bit, Clifton. If you're asking me which one's the closest, it's got to be Vladdy. But I just don't know what you do with Tony. Like, Tony is, I don't even want to say he's close or in between. He's late, and he's getting really good pitches to hit. Not every one of them haters are up. A lot of them are center cut.
And you made the point. You made the point today. It's not like last year he could not hit heaters up.
Absolutely. I mean, you go back and look at video. I mean, the video tells you and shows you that he's gotten on top of those and he's beat the dude to the spot. Why all of a sudden this long has he went not capable of doing that? Is he injured to the point where it's just not allowing him to do it?
Well,
I mean, he's playing. So if he's playing, that'll tell you he thinks he can beat the guy to the spot. I just wonder consistently why it's taken him so long to figure this out. I mean, he's been around long enough. He's had enough success to know that. That's the $1 million question. They need to figure it out and figure it out in a hurry.
Yeah, I don't. It's puzzling. I would like. Maybe he's not 100%.
Let me
but
ask
he's playing
you a
in
question.
the outfield.
Buck said move him in front of Vladdy. You think that'd help?
It can't hurt. I mean, it ain't working now.
Yeah. We're having John on Friday. We'll ask him.
Yeah,
I just don't know what it would do mentally.
I mean, who cares?
Yeah, you do care.
You can't, but
because Vladdy's hitting enough, and to Clifton's point, his at-bats are better than Tony's are.
But most of Vladdy's contributions are walking, and I can't have that from him. I don't understand if this team was 4 games or 5 games over 500 and scuffling, and I'd say okay, but they've been like this all since the start of the year. I don't understand the reluctance. I'd move a bunch of you know what? Nobody in the lineup. There's nobody in the lineup right now that I really care about.
You know what John's going to say? John's going to say, okay, so you want me to give Tony one extra bat than Varsho or Vladdy? Say yes or no to that answer. And if the answer to that is, I would love to. Oh, well, it doesn't make any sense. You want to get your better hitters more bats than the other hitters. But Varsho and Vladdy are better than Tony. You know that, and Bo is too. So you know that's what John's going to say.
You're prepared all year to have Varsho be a better hitter than Anthony Santander, then you ain't going to the playoffs.
If
Varsho's a better hitter than Santander, it does not get your team's not going to the playoffs.
Well, right now he is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep running the same damn thing out, and it's going to look the same. It's going to look the same. I mean, if you're okay with that, if you're okay with going 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position, if you're okay with losing 13-0 and not driving any runs in and winning games 2-1, great, have at it. But, at this point in time, I don't care if I rub anybody the wrong. I don't care. Bo's probably not here next year. I don't care if Bo's upset if I move him out of the leadoff spot. I just don't.
Yeah, to get to your point, they gave Kirky the green light 3-0 with Tony standing on the on-deck circle. You don't know how that is? Because Kirky's hitting 279 runners in scoring position. Tony's hitting $170.
They also let Jonathan Clase hit for with the bases loaded.
Tells you all you need to know. Now you wanting to put him in the 2-hole? You are.
I'm not. I'm just saying move guys around. Move guys around. I don't care how you do it. Move guys around.
I think they've done that already.
Not that much.
Kirky's hitting cleanup.
Not that much. They need to do more than that. They really do.
Well, good luck.
I'm not married with Bo in the leadoff spot, and
who's leading off?
I don't pretend to know who's going to lead off.
You just throwing names against the wall.
It's not working.
Well, I mean,
it's not working. Is this lineup working? Is this lineup working?
Well, maybe it's talent. Maybe it doesn't matter where they hit in the lineup.
We're going to step away and come back and take a look around the American League East. It's a Memorial Day long weekend in the States, and the out-of-town scoreboard, mixed bag of news for the Blue Jays. We'll deal with that next. It's Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Order pizzapizza.ca. Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. The one that's hanging out listening to the Blue Jays game with us. We appreciate you being here. Now that we got your attention, welcome to our awesome community. Please hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss it for game 1 through 162 and, of course, every single game of the MLB playoffs, whether the Blue Jays are in or not. We appreciate you being here. We've just passed over 100,000 subscribers because of you. Yeah, those of you who haven't hit that subscribe button yet, that just do now, it's because of you that we're here. And everybody that's hit that subscribe button along the way. And we're on our way to 1 million and even further. Thank you for hanging out with us during the Jays game. Welcome to our awesome community. Thanks for turning on that bell, and we'll see you back in the chat.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Clement vacuums it up, throws to second one. Jimenez to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio.
Life Field in Arlington. Time now to take a look around the American League East with Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet in popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. As I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag for the Blue Jays as far as the American League East goes. Today, the Yankees, they are in Anaheim to take on the Angels. That is a later start. The Baltimore Orioles beat the St. Louis Cardinals 5-2. We already mentioned Toronto beat Texas 2-1. And the Milwaukee Brewers, they beat the Boston Red Sox 3-2 today. So as we take a look at the standings, the Yankees are 32-20 going into tonight's game. 500 gets you second place in the AL East.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be the case for the rest of the year. Tampa Bay is 26-26. Barker's Blue Jays are 26-27. The Red Sox are 27-29. And the Orioles are 19-34. The Rays have won 5 in a row.
Yeah.
And the Yankees have won 2 in a row. The Yankees are
best team in the American League.
I'm going to wait. I'm going to demur on that.
Well, you got 2 choices.
I'm going with the other team because I like their pitching better.
You do?
Yeah.
You like Skubal over Fried? Fried's pretty good too.
Yeah. I like Skubal.
The Yankees have the MVP on the team.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees have the best player in baseball. I think we've got a few minutes left. Let's go to Morgan in Halifax. You're on Blue Jays Talk.
How's it going, guys?
Going well, Morgan. Thanks.
So I mean, at the end of the day, I think we just need to sort out the top of the order here. Like you guys were saying, I mean, Bichette obviously hasn't been working in the leadoff spot. I mean, he hasn't had a hit in how many games? What is it, 4 at this point? It's not even like he's having competitive at-bats either. He's not drawing any walks. And I mean, it's just not really looking all that great. And Vladdy's looking good. Good contact. It's not the power you would expect out of him, but he's at least a bright spot and not many. Santander, I mean, he comes up to play every 4 or 5 times a game, and that's just about it. So you'd like to get a little more out of him. Hopefully he sorts that out at some point. Kirk's been looking good as well, but I mean, I think you really got to sort the order out. It's not really, it's been inconsistent the whole year, and it's just not really, doesn't make much sense. You get these gems pitched from your starters. I mean, it's only a matter of time before Chris Bassett goes 9 innings and you lose 2-0 and comes undone in the media after the game, right? As loyal as John Schneider, I mean, everybody going on about firing John Schneider, I just don't really get it. I mean, whoever you bring in is going to have the same players to work with as John Schneider did. I mean, what would you guys say to everybody going on about John Schneider being the issue?
Yeah, I appreciate the call. You know, I got to tell you, maybe it's just because I don't spend as much time on social media anymore.
Don't hear that much anymore, do you?
No.
Not as much as you used to.
No, I mean, you hear a lot of fire Ross Atkins. Yeah. I hear that when I go to gas the car up.
You do? I do too.
Same guy too.
Yeah.
The guy always says to me, "They're not listening to me, Mr. Blair." I say, well, they don't listen to me either. I hear a lot of fire Ross Atkins talk. I don't hear a lot of fired. You know, people are always. I keep reminding people, go back and read the stuff that was written about John Gibbons the first time he went around.
Sure.
He was manager here.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of people who wanted John Gibbons fired for months because he sat in the dugout, didn't do anything, didn't look like he was interested. He was called Boomhauer by people. I mean, people just thought he was this not very bright guy. And you know, and then he comes back the second time, and lo and behold, he's got a good team.
Yeah.
It took him a while, but he got a good team. All of a sudden, he's like, you know, Casey Stengel. And so you got to keep that in mind.
Only as good as your players? Is that what you're saying?
Pardon me?
Only as good as your players?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Bruce Bochy became a lousy manager this year necessarily.
Wow. Weird how that works.
But, and having said that, you know, further to the other points caller made, Kevin, you know, again, I understand. Sitting here and saying you got to do something to the lineup, you got to do something to the lineup, you got to do something to the lineup, and then when my friend Kevin says, all right, what would you do to it? I kind of throw my hands up and say, I don't know what I do with it. I just do something.
Is it easier to change the lineup around or fix the dudes that are having trouble in the lineup? Which is easier?
Now, that's $1 million question, because as a wise man tells me, as a wise man always says to me, and you know who the wise man is. I'm looking at the wise man. This team sure does have some long slumps. Like it takes a long time to get some guys with track records out of slumps. I am almost at the point where it can't hurt to do something, and that is completely non-analytical. I get that. It makes no sense, but
you're just doing it to be doing it.
I just don't know if Bo Bichette is I don't know if I'm getting the most I can get out of Bo's production in the leadoff spot, especially without Santander.
Who's leading off?
Yeah. You know what? I'm almost at the point where I revisit the George Springer thing. And I do it holding my nose.
Well, here's the deal. You either like seeing Bo with the 1 or 2 pitch outs, or you would rather see him with lots of traffic.
I'd rather see him
if he swings at the first or second pitch.
I'd rather see those doubles driving in runs as opposed to leaving him in second base so Vladdy can, you know, draw a walk and then Santander strikes out and then Kirk hit.
Well, with they scored first today in the first inning. With the issues they're having in the first inning, you would think you would put the guy up there who can work counts, have long at bats. It's not always about getting a hit.
I agree.
It's about making Vladdy comfortable enough to go up and be aggressive early in counts, which he has a real tough time doing after following Bo.
Yeah, I do. No, you've made that point
million times.
I do wonder about the Santander in front of Vladdy thing just to mix it up. Like
you're only doing it to help Tony. How's that help Tony? How's it help him?
I don't know. Maybe he
gets more, get less heaters.
I was going to no, and you know what? I don't know if I want him to see more heaters. He can't hit him.
Stop saying
he hasn't been able to hit them so far. So I don't know if that helps him.
So it gets back to you want the easy way out. You would rather not try and fix the dudes instead of just trying to mix them around in the lineup.
But why can't...
Yeah, you ain't doing both.
Why can't you fix players regardless of where they are in the lineup?
Mentally, it doesn't work that way. You covered enough baseball?
So you can't be... Anthony Santander is going to say, I don't want to work with you today because I'm hitting second instead of third.
Well, you ain't going to hit second.
Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Well, that's what you're saying. Hit him second.
I'm saying if you're going
to... And all of his worries are over.
No. But I'm just saying that... So you're saying that a guy isn't moving a guy around on the order, all of a sudden he's going to stop working.
I would say... put more emphasis into trying to fix the players. I
think they have.
No, they haven't.
You don't think they're trying to fix these guys?
I think it's the way they word it. That's just me. All right, I think you'd have been fixed already.
Okay, so who's going to fix them? Who's going to fix them? That's a great
question. I'm not in the room. I don't have any answer for that.
Well, okay.
I mean, you would think he could fix himself, but he obviously can't do that. If you think he's healthy enough.
They tried
to
they tried 330 hitting coaches, and it hasn't been able to fix it.
Well, you need the 331st one. Maybe that.
You should be the 331st one.
Well, the people, they would like me or hate me. I can tell you that.
I know that
wouldn't be no in between.
I know that. No, there's definitely no in between with you. Anyhow, that's it for us. Hey, it's a happy day. The Blue Jays won a baseball game. 2-1, we get to do it again tomorrow. Don't forget Blair and Barker moves from 4 to 6, or 4 to 6 Eastern tomorrow on Sportsnet 590. The Fan, thank you as always for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Chatham and Wallaceburg. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center. Visit crown.com. Crown.
It's your favorite New York housewife, Dorinda Bentley.
And the talk of shames, Kiki Monique. And we're teaming up to talk all things reality TV and more.
What are we watching? Can this just end already?
She will not do well in jail. As Giselle said, you can't have your wigs in jail. Double the drama and twice as many opinions.
Sure, that little clip that Shep said about me.
I just love that you're top of mind for Shep. Reality Chat.
On Radio Andy.
Tell your family and friends SiriusXM radios are on free now through June 1st. Visit SiriusXM.com/listen free to explore what's available.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
It's 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today, and your car can be gone tomorrow.
McDonald's Sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here.
My phone.
I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Tariffs, exchange rates, cash flow. In the face of the current storm, Canadian entrepreneurs need to forge ahead. And BDC, the Business Development Bank of Canada, is with you every step of the way with strategic advice and financing solutions adapted to your reality. It's time to take action, to tackle the uncertainty, and to come out stronger. Together, let's keep moving forward. BDC, financing, advising, know-how.
It's time to spring into savings at Aaronwood Ford. Come see what all the buzz is about. 0% financing. Rebates up to 11 grand. 2025 Escapes from $79 a week and more. Aaronwood has all the vehicles you want to drive to make this summer the best ever. Don't pay more at some other Ford store. Come feel the love at Canada's favorite Ford store. And remember, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. Spring into savings at AaronwoodFord.com.
DeWalt salutes the trades who do whatever it takes to keep Canada running. From coast to coast, they restore power, keep the oil flowing, mines running, and work tirelessly to build homes to meet the demands of our growing population. That's why DeWalt has invested over $750,000 since 2024 to support skilled trades training in Canada. So when your country is counting on you, count on DeWalt. Up here, we are tough in the north. For more information, visit DeWalt.ca.
Direct! I started selling Nissans over 30 years ago. Barely speaking English. No shortcuts, just hustle. One car, one customer at a time. I know what it takes to build something real. And at Direct Nissan, you are not just a number. Sure, you can buy a Nissan anywhere. Or you can buy it from the guy on the radio who's been doing it longer than just about anyone. I am Greg Carrasco, managing partner at Direct Nissan, the original Nissan guy. When you think Nissan, think directnissan.ca. Direct!
Jumpstart your summer with Wendy's delicious drinks. Enjoy a small iced coffee, Frosty Chino, or Frosty Fizz for only $1.99. But hurry, get your $1.99 small drink at participating Wendy's. Only available until June 29th. Taxes extra.
Welcome to Get the Dirt. I'm your host, Doug Spade. Ready to dig in, Ivy?
I'll take backyard digs for $500.
Okay. Before planting a small tree, you need to do this.
Buy a lawn chair.
Well, you're my kind of gardener, but that's incorrect. Over to you, Daisy.
Click before you dig.
That's correct. It's the law to submit a locate request through Ontario One Call before digging for any size project. I'm Doug Spade, reminding you that we all win when you click before you dig.
Where's the Stanley Cup going to take us this spring?
16 teams, one champion. Watch every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet. Presented by Instacart. This is Sportsnet Tonight on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
As always, welcome. Text line open 590-590. Standard data and text rates may apply. Name and location, please, if you're texting. On X at the Raj 590. And you can email Roger at sportsnet590.ca. I'm going to throw out, because we're going to do some general NHL talk tonight, talk about the Panthers game. Of course, the Oilers. Is it going to be a Stanley Cup rematch? And what do you think the Leafs should do? In particular, Marner Tavares. You play the general manager. You tell me. You want them back? You want them both back? At what price? Or is it just time to do something else? Take a look at how the playoffs have gone so far. Florida's 11-4, 7-2 on the road. 3 of the 4 losses to the Leafs, both the home losses, road losses, to the Leafs. Does that change your mind about the Leafs? We'll talk about that later in the program. But Show Ali joins us now, doing his usual great job here at Sportsnet 590 Fan, the Sportsnet Radio Network, covering the Blue Jays and many sports all season long. Show, great to chat with you. A win's a win, but a Kevin Gausman 8-inning jewel followed up by the closer doing exactly what he's supposed to do. That's a nice win.
Absolutely, yeah. We didn't have to worry about Jeff Hoffman not throwing the fastball. He only really toyed with the splitter to Jake Berger right at the end there. So, yeah, I mean, definitely a real positive. They didn't have to get into the bullpen apart from Hoffman at all. So that's one thing, I think, with the absence of Jimmy Garcia to the 15-day IL, Raj, that, you know, you kind of wonder, like, who's going to step up? Yariel Rodriguez, Chad Green? Well, we didn't have to answer that question today because Kevin Gausman went 8 innings. He's looked real good the last, 3 straight starts. And, I mean, in the 2024, even 2023 to a lesser degree, I think we started to see some slippage from the splitter, certainly, and his fastball velo wasn't quite where it is now. But gosh, he was living like 95 to 97 miles an hour all day today. So definitely a great outing from Gausman. I think it does give you some confidence that the starting rotation has found something here.
Well, that's the hope for sure. And listen, you know, Show, what I like about Gausman, he's old school. And what I mean by old school, so, you know, when other pitchers are on the mound, what is everybody saying? Oh, 3rd time, 4th time around the order, you got to get him out. Watch a number of pitches, although he only had, I think, 96 pitches today, so it really wasn't a concern. But end of the day, he defies all of that.
He just goes out there, he does it. You've got a degree of confidence in him. He has confidence he can still get hitters out. And when things are working for him, he's an old school kind of pitcher that wants and maybe even needs to pitch deep into games instead of other pitchers who just aren't used to it. And I really wonder moving forward, how many of those guys are going to be around baseball in another 5 to 7 years?
Sure.
How many Kevin Gosmans are there going to be? Because the game is so micromanaged now. It's so pitch count. It's so structured to use the bullpen. It's shorter starts, more and more relievers. It's the nature of the game. But, man, the starter going 8 and the closer going 1, that's old school, brother. We never see that anymore.
It's true. I mean, I think you could even go as recently as like 2010, 2011, where you'd see pitchers be given a much longer leash. And then, we kind of, in recent, quote unquote, recent years, in the last like 15 years or so, we've seen the advent of like the opener and bullpens being used a little more liberally, right? And I mean, people talking about like how many, will quality starts go down? Will win totals go down for starting pitchers? Will any pitcher ever get to like the 3,000 strikeout club, right? Like all the typical benchmarks that are used for Hall of Fame discussions, for example. So, yeah, I mean, the game is changing so rapidly right before our eyes. And it's kind of funny, right, Raj? Because we're at a point in time where starting pitchers and relievers, but relievers in particular, are throwing harder than ever. They're throwing some breaking balls and their stuff is nastier than ever. So I think to get a kind of a throwback start from Kevin Gausman, with his stuff also looking pretty good, is something you just don't get that often anymore. Not just from Blue Jays pitchers, just from any pitcher.
No, the Blue Jays are not unique in the way they treat pitchers. Show every team is the same. It's an industry thing now. You just don't use the pitchers. And I do get it. Statistically, the analytics will definitely tell you that even as early as the 4th, 5th, 6th inning, a fresh arm, a guy who's throwing aspirins coming out of the bullpen, is going to be better than a starter who's starting to get tired, deeper into his pitch count, and now facing the same guys the 3rd or 4th time, depending on how quickly he's gotten through the lineup. But certain individuals, certain starters are able to do that, and they're just horses. And that's what he is.
Did you see the Tarek Skubal start from the other day?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Well, he's another horse, right? I mean, he's a lefty, too. I just think you don't see pitchers like a Skubal, like a Gausman. I know they're different ages, obviously, but you just don't see pitchers like that, I think, like coming up. I mean, maybe Paul Skeens is like that. Maybe he is. But I mean, and he's obviously very, very good. But I think time will tell whether or not he is treated like Garrett Cole was treated when he was with the Pirates, for example.
Yeah, got to be careful. You don't want the arm. I get it. Everything else. But Gausman was great today. The negative part, again, is they're not producing any offense. They got 2 runs. Thanks to Kevin Gausman.
Yeah.
Thanks to Hoffman coming in. But it just seems this offense is just, for whatever, perpetually stalled 53 games into the season, show.
Yeah, it does feel like the conversation. I mean, you and I had this conversation many times during the offseason, Raj. Just they needed 2 thumpers. They got 1. That 1 thumper has not been playing particularly well. And today wasn't a great game for Anthony Santander. So, if you spend the big money on Santander, he has provided you with pretty much no consistency. And I mean, let's face it, the very few of the Blue Jays have been super consistent over the course of the whole season. But still, I mean, he is the big guy we're talking about because he was paid the big bucks. So you haven't gotten a lot of consistency from Santander. I mean, it's nice that Dalton Varsho hit another home run to extend his team leading home run total. But I mean, at the same time, Varsho also strikes out a lot. I think he's still batting below 200 even after the game today. I mean, he might very well be the best sub 200 batter in all of baseball at this stage, Raj, but you just need more, right? I think the problem with it is, and again, it was good enough to win today. It's not going to be good enough to win because you're not going to get 8 innings from your starting pitcher every single time out. And if that's the case, I'm not really sure the answer to the offensive woes exists on the Blue Jays right this second, barring Santander just immediately turning it around, or Vladdy's starting to hit for more power, or Bo's starting to hit for more power. So, I mean, I guess you could sign JD Martinez, but I'm not really sure he's the answer at this stage of his career either.
2 years ago, that might have been a good signing, but I don't know about now. You're right about that. It's funny you mentioned batting average, show, because, you look at the scoreboard and you're at the ball game, and and rightfully so. The better stat is OPS. There are much better metrics of how good a hitter you are than batting average. But every once in a while, because now they've got the OPS listed, and you see, okay, 692, 750, 591, that's not very good, or 943 is having a good year and everything else. But every once in a while, I don't know if you do it, but when I'm scoring games in particular, I'll kind of glance over to the left-hand side where all the stats are.
Right.
And then you see Oh my God, he's hitting 192? That is like awful. And the 660 OPS maybe kind of, fudges it. You know what I mean? Like it used to be more definitive. You could see that number. You're under the Mendoza line is what we called it.
Right.
You're under 200. You're a crappy hitter. Now the OPS even, all right, you can tell 700's the average. You want to be, but it's just more stark and pronounced, it seems, when you're just not have a lousy batting average. And they got a lot of guys who are just not with good batting averages, not with good OPSs, and the numbers don't lie, and the homers are down too. And the offense is going to have to pick up. It's going to be I don't want to say it's going to be a long season, but it's going to be a similar season to what we're seeing now, I think.
I think too, and I don't think this is a Blue Jays specific problem because and I think a lot of people will call and text into Jays Talk talking about the offense, and it's rightfully so because it is an issue. But it is funny because if you look, I bet you if you look at the lineups of most teams across Major League Baseball and you look at the 7 through 9 batters, they're probably like all relatively similar, right? I mean, some teams, I'm sure, like the Dodgers and maybe to a lesser degree the Yankees and Tigers have a lot of pretty good hitters spread out over their 9 batters. But if you look at the most batting orders for the Major League Baseball, they probably look pretty similar to what the Blue Jays have got going on. I think the problem is
the 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, it's the guys before that are really giving you the trouble, right?
I knew where you're going with that the minute you started talking.
if you were getting what you needed out of Bo, Vladdy, Santander, and like to a lesser degree George Springer, and again to a lesser degree Alejandro Kirk, but really I think it falls on Bo, Vladdy, Santander. I don't think we would be having the conversation about, well, I mean, in Jimenez's absence, Michael Stefanik's in the lineup, and that's a real problem. And like generally speaking, I agree with that in a vacuum, but you're not going to be winning or losing games whether or not Ernie Clement or Michael Stefanik or Nathan Lucas or Miles Straw are hitting. I mean, as much as I like some of those guys, you're going to be winning and losing games based on Varsho and Vladdy and Bo and Springer and Santander. And so far, you've gotten like middling contributions out of those guys.
Blair and Barker were talking about it afterwards. What's the issue? How do you fix it? Been through hitting coaches, tried different things. It's perplexing because every once in a while, we've talked about this many times, Show. You get a guy who's having a career year. You get a guy who's not hitting. You got a guy who's in between. So it's fine. It just seems for whatever reason, more years than not, especially the last 2 seasons in particular, when everybody collectively is not getting near their career averages. Right. First of all, you wonder, that defies the law of probability. Why are 4 or 5 of your top hitters all underneath, and in some cases, way underneath their career even best or even their career average is perplexing. I don't have an answer. Rogers Center is still a hitter-friendly ballpark. Other teams come here and tear the cover off the ball a lot of games, but not the Blue Jays enough nights.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people have said since the renos were completed, first stage, second stage, all of it, whatever, people have said that the Rogers Center has become more of a pitcher-friendly ballpark. And I buy that to a certain extent. But to your point, I mean, if that was true, then no one would hit as well as the Blue Jays. And I mean, pretty much, it certainly feels like, at least, I don't have the empirical data to back this up, but it does feel like the away team hits a lot better at the Rogers Center than the home team. So, yeah, I mean, you got to fix that issue sooner rather than later. I mean, even if you do believe Arjun Namala is going to be a big part of the future, I mean, he's not going to be a part of like next year's ball club or certainly this year's ball club. So you got to find some way to do it. And I'm not sure, because again, I think a lot of people say you can make maybe not broad stroke decisions or assumptions on what a team is necessarily, but after it's into mid-May, I think you can start to know what a team is. And after yesterday's game, we were saying, well, this team is probably a 500 ball club, and that they'll probably hover, above or below plus minus 2 or 3 games below 500. And that's even a great win today, but that still might very well be the case. And if you want that to change, you got to change something about the offense. And I mean, maybe it's the batting order, maybe it's just guys need to hit better, but I'm not sure I'm not sure you can point to any one thing and say this has got to improve, and then the whole team's fortunes will turn around.
If this season continues on this trajectory, Show, the trade deadline is going to be really interesting. Yeah, because most years it's obvious. Last year the team was imploding; they weren't very good, so get rid of a whole pile. Okay. You get it. Other years, and most of the last few years, to be fair to this management and to the Vladdy Bo era, trade deadlines. Let's pick up a piece. Let's add, see what you can do. I don't know what to do about this team this year. I mean, you've secured Vladdy long term, but then there's Bichette at the trade deadline. Like, how can you not trade Bichette if you're a 500 team?
Yeah.
Like, you almost think you have to. But then if you're a 500 team, looking at the way the division is, you're a couple of games out of a playoff spot, and the whole idea is get into the playoffs, and you don't know. And by the way, I subscribe to that. Baseball, very different than hockey show. I would be doing everything I can to get in the playoffs every year in baseball. Fewer teams, first of all, get in. It's a shorter series. There's more of an opportunity to win. I mean, I take my chances every year in hockey, too. Don't get me wrong. Same thing in the NBA. But especially in baseball, it's a total crapshoot. So, man, it would be tough. And I think they're going to have one of those years. It's going to go right down to the end saying, are we in or are we out? We're 2 games back of a wild card. No, we're 1 game back of a wild card. Now we're 3 back. I don't think they're going to be far up or far down this year. I think what we're seeing with this team is kind of the way the team is, and the way things go with 86 to 88 wins needed is not much of a leap from 81 wins to 86 if you're looking at the playoffs.
No, it's true. And I think if you look at where the standings are now, and again, to your point, there's so much baseball left to be played for the Blue Jays and also for the other teams in the American Leagues and also the other teams in the AL Central and AL West. So a lot can change. But it's funny to think that in years past, if you finished as the second team in the American League East, you were probably making the playoffs. Like it was almost a complete lock. If you were 1 or 2 in the American League East, you're making the playoffs, division winner, wild card 1, probably, right? That's probably not going to be the case this year unless there's a massive turnaround, because if you look at the American League Central, and I haven't looked at the scores today because a lot of teams played, it was Memorial Day down south. So, but the Guardians, the Royals, the Tigers are certainly running away with the division right now. Yep. The Twins are also looking all right as well. And all 3 of those teams have better records than every other team other than the Yankees in the American League East. So
and the Athletics and Rangers are comparable to the teams in the AL East.
Right,
so your point is very valid. Second place guarantees nothing in that division.
Exactly. So you could be the Blue Jays, finish second in the American League East, still not make the playoffs. But to your point, Raj, about the wild card, and I know people scoff at this because the goal is not to just squeak into the playoffs. The goal should be to win the division. I understand. But at the same time, in a world where 3 wild cards exist versus like, a number of years ago when you'd had to win your division, that's the only way to make the playoffs, and that's it, right? But now that there are 3 wild cards, I mean, I got to think the Blue Jays are not going to be the only team kind of very carefully looking at their options here, because you got to think every team is thinking how you're thinking, that if you just make the playoffs, who knows what will happen, even if it is as wild card 3.
Oh, yeah. It helps your marketplace. It sells you tickets. It gives your players playoff experience. You take a crack. You never know. Wild card teams have done it. You got to take the shot when it's there for sure. That's Show LE. I'm Roger Lajoie, Sportsnet Tonight. I'm here till 10 o'clock. Show's here for a few minutes. And before shows goes, I got to ask you, Show, the question I'm asking the audience tonight on the text line of 590 is, what do the Leafs do now? We've had a week to think about this. Okay, take a breath. It's over. The fact that Florida is running roughshod over everybody else, does that change your mind about how good or bad the Leafs are? Probably shouldn't, but at the end of the day, you ask the Florida Panthers right now, ask anybody right now, who's been the toughest opponent? Maple Leafs. Yeah. It's not even a discussion.
No, it's not close.
Tampa Bay in 5, Carolina probably in 4. So does that make a difference? And secondly, all right, so what do you do moving forward now? There is an opportunity here now to substantially remake this team just by passing on Marner and Tavares. Just to start with that, to clear cap space and change it. What would you do?
I think I would bring back Tavares just because I've only given it a cursory look, I will admit. But the free agent class, not a great one. The free agent class of 2026 is a lot sexier, but the free agent class of this coming off season, not so great, right? So if that's the case, then I got to think that, and again, without looking at it, I got to think Marner is either the best or second best at worst, and he probably is the best free agent in this upcoming class. It doesn't really sound, I'm reading the tea leaves as much as anyone else is. There's no concrete information here, but it sounds like he's not that interested in returning to Toronto. So if that's the case, then, you move on. You can't really 100% replace a 100-point player. Certainly, it's not an easy task to do, especially in a weak free agent market. But I think you do bring back Tavares. I mean, certainly depends on what he's asking for. But if you can get him on an AAV of like $4.5 to $5 million, which I think sounds relatively reasonable, you do it. And then you try and, it's like the Moneyball quote, right? You recreate Marner in the aggregate, right? Mm-hmm. You get like 3, 33-point players and you bring them in and you spread them out on the different lines. You probably do have to get something from Easton Cowan next year. I'm not saying he's a top-line player, but he probably has to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs at some point next season. And you bring back Tavares and do you want to roll the dice on Nikolai Ehlers or Sam Bennett if he doesn't re-up with the Panthers? I think that's definitely a possibility. I will say, Raj, I am a little afraid that the Toronto Maple Leafs will go out there and overpay someone just because they have the cap space. And I know the cap is rising and all those things, but I've seen that story play out before, right? We've seen that happen with countless free agents. So I am worried like Sam Bennett will go to market and they'll really wildly overpay him and he won't be the same guy in Toronto he was in Florida. But I mean, they might have a choice based on Marner and potentially Tavares leaving.
I would make a general comment about general manager show, and I'm not trying to pretend I know more than they do, because obviously they know a lot more than I do. But I think a few of them have been guilty in the past of getting to that cap too fast. They have the money to spend, and it seems like they feel they have to spend it right away. Therefore, you see the start of the year, and you already got 7, 8, 9 teams totally up against the cap, and they haven't even dropped the puck yet. I really don't understand the necessity of doing that.
Yeah.
You give yourself some flexibility. You can do something in season. Stuff happens. Players get hurt. Somebody demands a deal. You can do it that way. I am under the assumption that Marner's time in Toronto is done. Whether that's the Leafs thinking or Marner's, combination of both, I just find it hard to envision that happening. If both were ready to do it, though, and Marner at a little less, I would do it. I would sign Marner and Tavares, but I just think it's not possible.
Yeah.
So I'm saying he's out.
Yeah.
And yet, JT, I'm with you. John Tavares can play on my team, and my team's going to be better off than your team for having him for another 3 years. He's 34. He's coming off a 38-goal season. He's a guy, the class he showed when they moved the C off, it wasn't a factor. He just showed everyone what he could do with 38 goals. But they'll be a great topic in the offseason. 590. They're a great topic tonight. Standard data and text rates may apply. Name and location, please, on the text line. Email me as well, Roger at sportsnet590.ca or on X at the Raj590. Blue Jays get a win. Snap the losing streak. Beat Texas 2-1. We'll see what they do tomorrow night. Show LE does a great job, of course, hosting Blue Jays, hosting shows, and doing a lot for us here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. You're the best, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime, Raj.
That's Show LE, everybody. I'm Roger Lajoie. Hit that text line up. We'll talk some tennis with Mike McIntyre, Leafs with Terry Koshin, Gilbert McGregor on the NBA playoffs, and much more to come, and more Blue Jays talk later in the show as well. Sportsnet tonight on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game?
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game. It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet. Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it. The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw. And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
The ball, a bat, and a microphone, but no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
That's it! It's a World Series win for LA! The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM.
All rise! Coming in 5.
Get ready to play.
4.
Get up! Get up!
3.
Can you believe it? Put your seatbelt on.
Wow.
Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and online with the SiriusXM app.
8:49. 3:05 p.m. Baltimore Orioles host the St. Louis Cardinals. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177, and Internet 843. Cardinals on Internet 865. 4:05 p.m. Texas Rangers face the Toronto Blue Jays. Rangers on Sirius 137, XM 179, and Internet 867. Blue Jays on Internet 868. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 89. Spanish feed on Sirius 138, XM 180, and Internet 870. 4:10 p.m. Kansas City Royals face the Cincinnati Reds. Royals on Sirius 139, XM 181, and Internet 852. Reds on Internet 847. 4:10 p.m. New York Mets face the Chicago White Sox. Mets on Sirius 162 XM 178 and Internet 858. White Sox on Internet 846. 6:10 p.m. Cleveland Guardians face the LA Dodgers. Guardians on Sirius 119 XM 182 and Internet 848. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish Feud on Internet 871. 7:05 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays face the Minnesota Twins. Rays on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 866. Twins on Internet 857.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
Jeff Joyce hopped on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio to discuss how the Boston Red Sox can move past Tristan Casas' season-ending knee injury.
The outfield feels like where they have more of their depth. First base isn't really a spot where they have a ton of guys. They said no Devers at first base, which kind of on board with because he hasn't played there. He wasn't great at third, a position he knew, so I'm not just throwing him over at first base unless I feel really good about him over there. But they got a couple of guys. Abraham Toro's up and Romy Gonzalez, but that's about it. They don't. I'm sure they could plug and have guys play. They just don't have a lot to throw over there. The good news for them is the three guys up at the top of the lineup are hot right now. Duran, Devers, and Bregman. I mean, Bregman's been playing well all year, but Duran's playing with his hair on fire again, and Devers is mashing the ball right now. And, Abreu's playing well. So the lineup is pretty good, and then they mix and match with other guys. But, first base is a spot now that they clearly need to figure out.
If you're looking for more interviews or news from around Major League Baseball, tune into MLB Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 89.
SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio is the place for expert advice, strategy, and information from the best fantasy sports analysis to win your league. Plus, hear pick-by-pick coverage of live drafts and interviews with top players, coaches, and team executives on SiriusXM 87.
I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Monday, May the 26th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 1:10 p.m. Detroit Tigers take on the San Francisco Giants. Tigers on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 850, Giants on Internet 863. 2:10 p.m. Milwaukee Brewers take on the Boston Red Sox. Brewers on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 856, Red Sox on Internet 844. 2:20 p.m. Chicago Cubs face the Colorado Rockies. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 845, Rockies on Internet 849. 3:05 p.m. Baltimore Orioles host the St. Louis Cardinals. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177 and Internet 843. Cardinals on Internet 865. 4:05 p.m. Texas Rangers face the Toronto Blue Jays. Rangers on Sirius 137, XM 179 and Internet 867. Blue Jays on Internet 868. National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 89. Spanish feed on Sirius 138, XM 180 and Internet 870. 4:10 p.m. Kansas City Royals face the Cincinnati Reds. Royals on Sirius 139, XM 181 and Internet 852. Reds on Internet 847. 4:10 p.m. New York Mets face the Chicago White Sox. Mets on Sirius 162, XM 178 and Internet 858. White Sox on Internet 846. 6:10 p.m. Cleveland Guardians face the LA Dodgers. Guardians on Sirius 119, XM 182 and Internet 848. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish feed on Internet 871. 7:05 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays face the Minnesota Twins. Rays on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 866. Twins on Internet 857. 8:10 p.m. Arizona Diamondbacks take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Diamondbacks on Sirius 161, XM 183 and Internet 840. Pirates on Internet 861. 8:40 p.m. San Diego Padres face the Miami Marlins. Padres on Sirius 83, XM 184 and Internet 862. Marlins on Internet 855. 9:38 p.m. LA Angels take on the New York Yankees. Angels on Sirius 85, XM 185 and Internet 853. Yankees on Internet 859. For 24/7 coverage of Major League Baseball, from day one of the regular season to the final pitch of the World Series, keep it locked on Sirius XM MLB Network Radio, Channel 89. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your Sirius XM MLB schedule for Monday, May the 26th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 1:10 p.m. Detroit Tigers take on the San Francisco Giants. Tigers on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 850, Giants on Internet 863. 2:10 p.m. Milwaukee Brewers take on the Boston Red Sox. Brewers on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 856, Red Sox on Internet 844. 2:20 p.m. Chicago Cubs face the Colorado Rockies. Cubs on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 845, Rockies on Internet 849. 3:05 p.m. Baltimore Orioles host the St. Louis Cardinals. Orioles on Sirius 106, XM 177 and Internet 843, Cardinals on Internet 865. 4:05 p.m. Texas Rangers face the Toronto Blue Jays. Rangers on Sirius 137, XM 179 and Internet 867, Blue Jays on Internet 868, National feed on Sirius XM and Internet channels 89, Spanish feed on Sirius 138, XM 180 and Internet 870. 4:10 p.m. Kansas City Royals face the Cincinnati Reds. Royals on Sirius 139, XM 181 and Internet 852. Reds on Internet 847. 4:10 p.m. New York Mets face the Chicago White Sox. Mets on Sirius 162, XM 178 and Internet 858. White Sox on Internet 846. 6:10 p.m. Cleveland Guardians face the LA Dodgers. Guardians on Sirius 119, XM 182 and Internet 848. Dodgers on Internet 854. Spanish feed on Internet 871. 7:05 p.m. Tampa Bay Rays face the Minnesota Twins. Rays on Sirius and XM channels 89, Internet 866. Twins on Internet 857.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
Have the Miami Marlins found their next star in Kyle Stowers? Well, Clayton McCullough, the Marlins manager, was on SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on Channel 89 to talk about how Stowers is someone you can count on.
Top-rate teammate. I think he cares about others, and I think he just does things for the right reasons. We were, talking the other day, and it's just how this game has a way of, rewarding people who just go about and do things the right way. And Dave Roberts used to always say that. And I think that's Kyle, that he shows up. I think he took a lot of lessons from last year, and his previous, stints in the big leagues with just kind of honestly where he was and what it was going to take for him to be able to, survive here. And so between him and our hitting coaches, and again, they worked on, trying to address some of the top of the zone velocity, and he just embraced it and went to work. And he just keeps his head down. He's someone you can count on. He's dependable. So, I'd say trustworthy, hardworking, blue collar, and those are things that kind of sum up Kyle Stowers for me. And just he's